Folks, to be completely honest, it doesn't feel like it's been all that long since we were last together. And it hasn't really been all that long, right? We have a little bit more of a quick turnaround here to close out the year. But I'm very excited for today's show. We say unique a lot on this program, right? To the point where it's kind of like, how unique can every single wrestler we cover on the show be? I think today's subject matter is actually unique, right? A very short career, very memorable, impactful, and dare I say, iconic one at that. We are, of course, talking about the mighty Yokozuna, one of my all-time favorites. Should be a hell of a time. Expert panel, as always. Your favorite quartet. Bob O'Neill, how are you?
I'm doing well. Good to be here. Fired up to talk about Yokozuna. Got the Orlando Magic and Atlanta Hawks on, so we'll follow that as well, and we'll have a good time here.
We'll follow that as well, like he's on doing a reporting from the arena. It's terrific. I love it. Beautiful. I love to hear it, Bobby. Oracle, how are you?
I'm good. I also have this NBA on NBC gimmick on. I don't really watch wrestling anymore, so bear with me, folks. I haven't done that in quite some time. But I do every 3 to 4 weeks or so. I watch 6 matches and don't take notes. So
I do. I have to say, I think there is money in you rebranding to just the Oracle. That does feel like a really funny thing,
though, because we got.
But that kind of makes it funnier, though, right? Like,
right.
Declare war on Paul Lee dangerously.
Fuck him.
Yeah, right. We can take him. We're fine. Contrarian Alex, how are you, brother?
I am exhausted, but I am excited to be here. I got in back home at approximately 1 a.m. Central Standard Time last night. I spent the weekend in Portland, Oregon, and had a hell of a time. It was not the war-torn hellscape, though, that the President of the United States have been telling me it is. I got there and no one shot me or, tried to convert me to some strange lifestyle. It's a hell of a town. I recommend it. As a seafood purveyor, I ate very well. Calamari, had some salmon. It was great. So, hell of a time. Got in late. My wonderful compatriots here kind of caught me up on the happenings of the weekend. My understanding is that Pepsi Phil is once again atop the wrestling world at world champion, the spry age of 57 at this point, and the WWF is back, is my understanding. So it's only fitting that we take this show back to a time when the WWF was in dire need of an attraction and someone to hitch their wagon to, and Vince McMahon reached out to the always reliable Samoan family tree and produced an attraction of sorts for a period of time. And Joe, you mentioned a unique piece of business we're going to be discussing here tonight, and one Rodney Anawahi. But any chance I get to get with y'all and bullshit and make references that 4 people get, it excites me. So
yeah, I didn't crunch the numbers on this. We've talked before about who has the shortest span between matches, right? Between match 1 and match 6. And I think Rick Rude and Alexa Bliss were like the leaders. Yoko's got to run it close, dude. He has to. It's like 5 years. So close, definitely. Obviously, Yokozuna is a sad story, but I just couldn't believe it. And obviously, we're getting way ahead of ourselves here, but I couldn't believe it. And I consider myself someone who's pretty well versed on this topic because I find Yokozuna's career to be fascinating. 34 when he passed away.
Yeah.
It's like, and this doesn't feel at all, maybe you guys disagree, to me this doesn't feel at all like a deep cut either. It's like, of course we would cover Yokozuna. He was an iconic WWF's top star of it. It's such a short window, right? It's a fascinating tale, definitely.
It's I think there's a lot of interesting things that have led to what the narrative about Yokozuna is in 2025, and I think we're going to talk a lot about that. But you're exactly right. And goddamn, man, you did something. If you're in the WWF for 5 years, less than that, and had like the impact he did, and
yeah,
there's some big like things that he accomplished that we're going to talk about along the way.
It was legitimately, it was 4 years he's WWF run, right? Because end of 92, end of 96, that's the run.
Was his TV debut when he squashed Virgil at Survivor Series 92?
He comes in weeks before that. He debuts on Halloween Halloween TV. It was taped before that, obviously, but yeah, aired on Halloween Superstars, wherever it was.
Virgil calls him Yokozuna.
Yeah. Oracle, I have to be honest, I like this a lot. The Oracle of Life is... Dude, I mean, something to be done here. I think we've got something here. The Oracle of Life. You do a preacher gimmick? Oh, babe, we can do vignettes. Anyway.
Klein just posted in the chat that he's never seen a full Yokozuna match, so I hope it blows your mind to know that out there is a Yokozuna and Bam Bam Bigelow versus Undertaker and Genichi Hinru Tenryu match out there. So.
Yes. Yeah, some of the... Yeah, and we'll get into all of this and more, no doubt, as we go here. But,
Don't work all the Hulu bundle. Yeah, it's more like it. Fucking bullshit.
Superb. All right, folks, let's delve into this. Much to discuss, but we'll start as we always do. Let's talk about our fandom of the wrestler in question. Bob, I know I'll start with you. Before I do, any tips for someone who's convinced they're just going to love this stream?
Yeah, if you think you're going to have a good time, you go ahead and smash that like button and be reminding you throughout the night.
I don't know why, but have a good time, Pop Me. Like, it just... I'm going to have a good time tonight. Sure I am. Awesome. Bobby, tell us about your Yokozuna fandom.
Yeah, it's interesting because, if it's a guy that I didn't, grow up watching or whatever, it's usually from the video games, but he wasn't in those either. So it's kind of like I've been racking my brain trying to figure out how I was aware of him because, he's on the first Raw, so I'm sure, on the Raw anniversary shows, they'd show, moments and stuff and the Hogan stuff from WrestleMania 9, obviously. But as far as, actually diving in and seeing him, it's been quite some time. I've seen the Mania matches and stuff, obviously, but I don't think since starting Raw from the beginning was when I really started to kind of see him and appreciate him more. So it's really just been the past couple of years where, because he's on Raw and Superstars mostly every week in 93 and 94. And just kind of growing an appreciation from there and just kind of seeing just beyond the clips and the big stuff.
I'm intrigued. The video game things interest me. He's in the Legends of WrestleMania one, right?
Yes.
Well,
yes. He's in that one. Yeah, he's just not in any of them. He's not a legend until
recently,
13 or 14. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Alex, what was you going to say on the video game front? I'm intrigued.
Oh, just that's a big part of my story too, because Yokozuna, he was always who I played as in WrestleMania, the arcade game. That was the big one as a kid, and because it was either him or Bret. Bret had some really cool fast moves, but you could just kill dudes with Yokozuna with the leg drop and shit. It was great.
That's fitting. We'll stick with you, Contrarian. What about yourself? I mean, I think you're gonna have a slightly different story, right? In terms of Yokozuna. Take it away, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I mentioned that. I remember watching Survivor Series '92, and he killed Virgil, which everyone did, but Yokozuna was a big dude, so it was interesting. But as has been discussed here before, the only time in my my life, pretty much that. Up until recently, I had a distance relationship with Lady Pro Wrestling was 94-ish, and I got back into it in 95. So part of that had to have been because Yokozuna killed Hulk Hogan. That had to have done something to my little kid psyche to kind of drive me away. But I always remember thinking, because that it was still real. I was 7 or whatever, so it still was real, and he was a domineering force. And then my personal anecdote was that I was at SummerSlam 1996 when he wrestled Steve Austin on the Free for All, and I will tell you, I think I was the only little kid there that had a Steve Austin sign. I made it with crayon, and it said "The Stone Cold Stunner rules." And so I don't know if I've ever rewatched that match. It's 3 minutes long, but Steve Austin wins because Yokozuna breaks the ring. And that was that was still when they weren't sure what they were doing with Steve Austin, but still I wasn't even 10 then, so it was still real, and I was like, oh shit, the guy I beat Yokozuna, and that guy beat Hulk Hogan, so now he's even a bigger deal. And then he just disappeared, and obviously I was a preteen, so I wasn't on the sheets or anything like that. And then I remember reading in WWE magazine, WF at the time, that he died, because I remember reading about the tribute show that they had for him. And when you're 12 or 13 or whatever I was, anything 18 seems old. So I remember it never really registering with me. He was only fucking 34 years old. And now as a man, you know, rounding 40, I look at that and I'm like, man, and I'm sure we'll talk about it at some point too. His story is a sad one because it's, you know, they had that really great documentary a few years ago they released on him that, like, it's tragic, but, you know, he wasn't like into drugs and stuff, but there's similarities between him and Farley, I've always thought, because it seemed like everyone that cared about him tried to get him help and he just didn't want it or didn't heed it. His vices were obviously much different than like cocaine and heroin and stuff like that, but he had a problem, and it's a sad story. But what we're here today to talk about is his wrestling career, and as I've gotten older too, I've come to think that he's a pretty damn good pro wrestler. I think a lot of his narrative about the 90s was sadly crafted around just Meltzer didn't like him, and you know that was a time when his word held a lot. And I think that I'm glad now that he and we'll circle back to this at the end. I'm glad now his legacy has kind of come back around, because we know well that WWE can manipulate history the way they want, and it's mostly not for the better. But the fact that they've given this guy a bit more of a spotlight in, you know, the past decade, 15 years, I think is good, because he was a big part of a very short period in the company, and he was a pretty good hand.
Yes, sir, the Oracle of Wrestling. You're a pretty good hand. What do you make? What are your Yokozuna fandom, brother? Tell us.
So my earliest sort of memories are like watching, like, I would very amusingly rent WrestleMania 9 from like Blockbuster and shit. You wonder why that was the only one that was ever on the shelves of Manias.
Yeah.
But I used to get
cool,
that
though.
a lot.
You know, it looked cool.
There was a couple of other new gen pay-per-views I would order or rent rather when I was a kid that he was on. And then basically, as always, the WWF Smarks Choice poll, bringing up every time here on the Grin Grappler, Smarks Choice, which took place in 2008. I got to watch lots of old Yoko matches from his time in the Fed. I remember really loving the Hogan match, the title change at the time, and of course the Owen tag team. They had several really good tag matches over the years. So yeah, I just kind of largely became a fan through that, and have always enjoyed him. A very underrated, unheralded big man wrestler inside the ropes, and definitely an iconic character. I think an incredible presence, and had a really kind of cool, unique charisma about him. But certainly one of my favorites of the new generation era, and a guy that I've always kind of wanted to do a Grin Grappler with and of, and I'm glad we're finally on Yoko. I'm excited for it.
Me too. I think you and I are we're the Yokozuna guys here, Oracle, right? I think this is one we both wanted to do for a while. Someone that I've always found fascinating because he's someone you initially take an interest in just because when you're new to being a pro wrestling fan, the big men stand out in general, right? There's an intrigue surrounding the big men. You don't know the difference between the ones that are, quote, good and not so good. Yokozuna was a very, very big man. He stood out in that regard. And the gimmick, and, the gimmick obviously has its, its intricacies, but as a young wrestling fan, it makes him a very unique, piece of the industry, right? What makes him particularly fun to kind of talk about, especially I think we're going to have an interesting time tonight, is he is revered among his peers as a pro wrestler. Not as an attraction, not as a gimmick, as a bell-to-bell, nuts and bolts pro wrestler. And when you become a kind of nerdy fan, I find it really fun to kind of piece that together with what your own eyes see, right? I sometimes talk about, when we're just doing solos or whatever it is we're talking about, like, I think there's an interesting topic to be had in terms of the Vader Yokozuna comparison, in the sense that one of those guys is rightfully, probably the most decorated, most celebrated big man ever. But among their peers, Yokozuna is seen as the more polished professional, right? The more smooth professional. And I always found that interesting, that element that what we see as fans, while our priority is our entertainment, obviously, and that should never change. I shouldn't be worried too much about if Bret enjoys being in a guy's headlock. It's still interesting to think about, right? And I think Yokozuna, as a man of his size, I mean, he was the WWF champion at well over 500 pounds. The fact that was his reputation among peers has always intrigued me. And as I get older and I watch the matches more and more, I actually think you can see it for yourself, right? When you get more used to like what he does. My thing with Yokozuna always is, I don't know if he's a guy that has many great matches. I will die on the hill that I think he has many great performances, though. And I think he was, this sounds backhanded, but I don't intend it to this way. He was great at being Yokozuna. And that is, in some ways, why I think he's sustained the memory, the image of him. He's singular, right? There's not... I mean, look at the size of the family and all the great workers that come from that family. But Yokozuna is a singular commodity because of the gimmick and the way he was presented and the way he was pushed, for that matter. WWF champion. So, really
his run in the WWF was, I think, the length of Roman Reigns' title run. Like, it's
fascinating. It really is. So, he's a personal favorite of mine. I think he's someone that I definitely agree with Alex, and we'll talk about it. I think there is a little bit, still to this day, actually, a kind of smart fan, gripe beef with all big men that aren't, like, breaking the mold and doing moonsaults, right? And that's something that we still actually kind of deal with a little bit in wrestling conversation. So I think he is a victim of that, but I think he's someone people more and more appreciate. And if you watch the matches, you can see there was a lot of skill to that dude's game, I think, that probably gets lost in his sheer size. So very excited to dive in.
Quick question.
Alex.
Your fandom of Yokozuna, how much of that has been perpetuated by the story that he completely motherfucked Shane Douglas on a tour bus in the UK?
I mean, that does help. It certainly helps, doesn't it? It does, can't argue with that. I mean, he is someone who has a great deal of lore, right? Like the stories about him, and so some of them are really tragic with how things are, but some of them are awesome. Like, he just sounded like he was a hoop. So there's some incredible photos. I posted one today of him and Rick Steiner, which is just a wonderful image. I'll put that on the screen here in a second. Before I do, our acts today, we have Act 1, pre-WWF. We have Act 2, as is often the case, the kind of sweet spot, right? That the height of his career. World champion in 93 and 94. And then Act 3, unfortunately, really the end of his run far too soon. Here's the photo I was talking about. Look at that. What an image. My goodness, the lads.
Has there ever been a male wrestler that looked more like he did porn than Rick Steiner?
Dude, I was going to say, it says a lot that Rick is the one who stands out more here in this photo. Look at Yoko's grin there, dude. God, what an image. A huge fan, and I'm very excited to discuss this with you fellas. He was the nephew of the Wild Samoans. He turned pro in 1985. So even where our journey ends, he's still just like a 10-year pro, right? And at that point, he's basically at the end of his run as a major heel in the WWF. Of course, went by the great Kokina, Giant Kokina. Kokina Maximus was the other moniker. I didn't appreciate until preparing for this, like, he did the full-on, he made the towns, dude. He was all over the place. He works Mid-South, Memphis, Alabama, and these are all, let's be clear, this is on the downswing of all of that, right? This is the last kind of crop of guys that could do this. But even to the point of he went and worked Germany. He did more New Japan than I realized. We're going to talk about some of that in a second. He worked Mexico. He even crossed paths with Andre in Mexico, which Alex and I discussed when we were preparing for this. He does some very late-stage AWA. I didn't appreciate how much, how kind of well-traveled he was. And it gives you an idea of why, as a push-top guy in the WWF, he was able to kind of just, slot in the way he was, right? He'd paid his dues in that sense. The big thing... Yes, go for it.
I didn't realize how close in proximity it was. His, tryout match as the great Kokina in the WWF was September 1st of 92. So they got him in, dude. Packaging him that quick, man.
Yeah, he wins the Rumble 4 or 5 months later. Insane.
That's insane.
The big thing that's often discussed about the kind of, the Kokina era of Yoko's career is his size, right? He was obviously a lot leaner. As we talk about these first two matches, you see some of that. He's a remarkable athlete across all of these matches. But it goes without saying, while it isn't something we need to dwell on, we do see in just this 5 years, he gets a lot bigger. And that was something that I'm sure will come up as we go here. But nonetheless, let's get rocking here. New Japan Pro Wrestling, New Spring Gold Series. January 31st, 1990. The IWGP Tag Team titles on the line. Masa Saito and Shinya Hashimoto defending against a pairing that I think a lot of wrestling fans would have no idea crossed paths before the WWF. Great Kokina and Big Van Vader here in a match that on paper is an insane collection of talent, right? Like, just what a wild matchup this is. A Fire Pro matchup, even if you will. And I thought in execution it was pretty damn fun too. Enjoyed this a lot, Oracle. What did you make of this one, mate?
Yeah, this was a fun sort of big Clash of the Titans match. Hashimoto got his nose busted, which happens about once every month for him.
Yes,
it's always fun. And he gets his ass beat and makes awesome faces, and Saito comes in there at 50 and hits hard, and it fucking rules. And Yoko, man, when he first comes in there, he's running the ropes. And it's amazing because, like, even as we talked about, as he gets bigger, he's still, but like here, because of his, he's leaner. I mean, he's doing these awesome rope running sequences early on. I thought he had a solid performance here. I was mostly just impressed with how athletic he was in this. And in a lot of ways, weirdly enough, he was the most mobile of all four of the guys. You wouldn't think Yoko would be that, but he was here. He was the one run, kind of the most agile of the four. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. This was a very solid match, and I didn't even know that. I'm sure I'd read it before, but maybe not. I didn't even know that Yoko and Vader were even like. Tag team or whatever. That's awesome. Because I know Vader was the one who like attacked Yoko, right? In the build to WrestleMania 12 or whatever. So they had like a brief
Yeah, they worked together in '96. Yeah.
I think was it the night after WrestleMania 12 that he injured him? Because that's when
the leg or whatever.
No, I'm trying to remember. Because he took out Monsoon, and that's what led to Piper coming in. Anyway,
yeah, that's when he comes in. Yeah, I think the Yoko thing's later because Yoko's last thing is the babyface, isn't it? Opposite Vader.
Yes.
So
okay, good call. Yeah.
And what I think is interesting, Oracle, you mentioned the kind of mobility of Yokozuna. One thing that's really impressive about him that I think the more big men you watch in pro wrestling, the more I appreciate it. That was never at the expense of his, like, aura as a physical force, ever. Like, even in this match, as a slightly smaller man, he has this little combo where he hits, like, a power slam and a leg drop, and it makes an insane sound on the canvas. And you hear the crowd, like, gasping. And like, oh, my God, that was loud, He was able to bump and be vulnerable, but never in a way that undercut him as being a super heavyweight, which I think is really difficult to do, and he was brilliant at that. We see that in all these matches, I think. He does it here. In match one, Bobby, you, of course, a Hashimoto expert. What did you make of this?
Yeah, I thought this ruled. Off the jump, like Vader and Yoko look cool as hell when they come out, so they get some points for that. I was kind of surprised they kind of started kicking the shit out of Vader right away, which you don't see often in his matches, so that kind of took me off guard. And then, Yoko got in there, and Saito just kind of absorbed his strikes, hulked up a little bit. Yoko gets the leg drop, which we'll see him do quite a bit. Oracle really pointed out just the mobility and the athleticism is awesome. And I think it's a really good starting point because Yoko's in it for most of it, honestly. And it's really cool to see because, it's different from what we'll see going forward.
It is. I think, especially because they're on top at the same time in the States, like Yoko is the WWF champion at the same time that Vader is the WCW champion, right? I think they were, that was an unfavorable comparison for Yoko among smart fans. But I think you see here, they actually have a lot of the same gifts, right, physically. Like, you see them both at one point in this match, Vader runs into a Saito hot tag and takes this, like, leaping bump, which is, both of these guys were physical marvels. We do get a nerve hold, Alex. Your faults in our opening contest.
Well, Joe, we had to talk about cinema, and thanks to Charles for pointing that out there.
Yes.
The main thing I remember about the Monsoon thing is old-ass Gorilla Monsoon fires up a comeback of chops, and he's in a suit, and he's chopping Vader across the ring. But anyway, we got to call it cinema, Joe. It's not the first, nor will it be the last time we talk about New Japan in the mid 80s to mid 90s is probably cinematically speaking the most gorgeous wrestling promotion that's ever existed. And this match starts with a static shot of the ring that fades in Vader and Kokina's entrance. So you see it like overlaid on the ring and it just looks fucking beautiful. And that New Japan aesthetic of the fans are literally like piled on top of the wrestlers. So the wrestlers, and Vader is in a real ornery mood. Fuck you, piece of shit. He's doing a lot of swearing on the way to the ring. But we start this with Hashimoto giving fucking Leon a vertical suplex. And one day I hope we do cross the bridge of a Shinya Hashimoto Grin Grappler, because I think at my old age, Shinya Hashimoto is probably my number one blind spot in pro wrestling. Like I know nothing about that guy. I know his legacy. And, I'm pretty well versed in the other two Musketeers, but he's just a guy that, for whatever reason, I've never gone down that path. But he, I do, to Oracle's point, I know part of his deal is there's always some sort of blood on his face. That's always going to kind of come with the territory. But he hits a vertical suplex. There are legitimate shrieks of terror from some of the women in the crowd when Yokozuna does a diving headbutt. You can hear these gasps. I don't know when we're going to talk about this guy again, but Masa Saito has to have, especially this incarnation of him, one of my favorite builds ever in wrestling. It's like that Blue Demon El Santo beer belly, but just massive pecs and traps with arms taken to a completely different level. Because Saito's got he's got the gut with his tights are over it, and you can tell that thing's just rock hard. Like he's got the one big ab going on. It's just fantastic. And he is someone I really like as an older wrestler. He was a really great pissed off old man wrestler, like the way he'd get in there and fuck dudes up. And to Yoke's credit, man, he tries to get up for that Saito suplex on the finish here. It's just not in the cards, man. But a fun match. I'm glad we start here. We do have the nerve hold because that's what I associate Yoko with. But another thing that Bob called out, and this is going to be a trend, that big reaction off the Yokozuna leg drop, the Kokina leg drop, that it looks beautiful. And in every iteration of him we see in the show, you can believe, my God, that could kill a man. That guy dropped a leg on you, like brother. But this might be what you're referring to also. Saito power slams Vader and just throws him. And it's not even the Japanese style of the Tenryu struggle, to get the guy up. He just picks him up and hoofs him. It's fantastic. A fun match. The one thing I'll call out, there's 2 points in this match where you hear a small attempt at Kokina chants. There's definitely some fans that are watching this that are really into the idea of this Kokina dude. And it immediately has to make us wonder, for the purposes of nothing else than discussion, butterfly flaps its wings and Vince never comes across this guy. Maybe he becomes a big gaijin star in Japan. You never know.
It's what makes it even more kind of odd to think about is when he eventually returns as Yokozuna, WWF, superstar. Obviously, the Japanese crowds feel very differently because, of course, they fucking do. He's Yokozuna. I think he would have been a home run for either of the, either All Japan or New Japan. I mean, and what's interesting too, and I think maybe young fans probably, this is hard to even understand or communicate because it's so different to what we have now, but the wrestling economy was such that wouldn't have been you didn't take a huge leap with that. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the WWF was some sort of different level of payday. It wasn't in the mid-90s at all. No. So, interesting to think about for sure. I wonder, Oracle, what do you think? Which promotion do you think would have been a better fit for Yoko? All Japan or New Japan? If we're talking 93, 94.
I think New Japan would have been better for him.
Yeah, I tend to agree. But then again, we need the Hansen match.
True. Yeah.
Feels like a New Japan guy, though, right? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, for sure.
Would have been very, very interesting indeed. Very fun match, 10, 12 minutes long. Basically just bombs throughout, but the Gaijin do take like some heat, right? They get like 2 doses of heat, I think. And you kind of just get to see the guys just do their stuff. It's a fun watch. It's definitely got some novelty to it. With Vader and Yoko teaming up here. Just a couple years. What are we looking at? 3 years away from them being top guys in the major 2 US promotions. It's incredible how quickly things would move. Absolutely.
You like the Red Lightning Vader? You like the gear he has here, or do you prefer the trademark mask? Yeah,
I prefer the latter personally. Yeah. What about yourself?
Yeah, same. It made for a really sweet fucking Legends figure they put out a few years ago, but
it did.
Yeah,
it did. It's I think it's been pointed out to us before. Vader has got an insane Grin Grappler catalog without ever having a Grin Grappler. He's been on these shows. In some ways, that's the greatest compliment you could give someone, right? Like, he's so often on the lineup. This one's obviously a little different, but he's often the opponent, so on and so forth. He's been featured a lot, so good to see him here. And this next one is one of those matches that all I could think was, God, Bob O'Neill watched this for Grin Grappler, and he made notes, and I just can't wait.
Bob, have you seen a Mil Mascaras match before this?
Oh
no. My God.
He's claiming Bob. He's breaking down in front of us, folks. The fan has stopped. Oracle, the fan has stopped.
Oh, no. The fan. Come back.
Emergency line.
Nope,
He's back.
are we back?
You're back. You're back.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
No, except for the Royal Rumble he was in. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, the No Yob Rumble situation. Yeah. Of course.
No Yob.
Well, he's here. Mil Mascaras is here. He's with Enrique Vera. Villano 3. They're taking on Kokina, Canek, and Fatu, of course, the eventual. Well, he would. I actually, at this point, because I'm such a new gen freak, I'm like, he's Fatu. That's who he is, right? The head shrinkers. But of course, Rikishi, the podcaster, right, Alex?
Hold on. He's make a difference, Fatu.
I don't know. I think of the head shrinkers. They were a hell of a team, dude. The SWAT team.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. Like
I know.
Make a difference. Fatu is like one of the peak new gen gimmicks. You see, he's getting a figure.
Yes, a figure of that. Yes.
I'm reminded of JP from the Laps fan thinking that when he was a kid that make a difference Fatu is going to be like the next Hulk Hogan.
That's what wrestling's all about. By the way, speaking of figures, this is an all-time operation here. Yoko here.
Oh, shit.
There's something about this. So this Yoko, as you can really tell, is not big enough, right? But they did try something with this figure that I truly admire, and I have to shout out. Look at this situation we have back here. Look at this. Look at this separate mold for this man. Look, just remarkable, really. What an offering. What an effort. They tried their very best, folks. My goodness. Incredible deal. Yokozuna in the building.
We can circle back to that at the end. Yokozuna has some great wrestling figures, so we'll circle back to that discussion point.
He's Twi'ek, if you will. Dare I say.
All right.
Dare I say.
All right, calm down, Cardona.
So as we were saying, this is from Mexico, UWA TV, aired on December 28th, was taped on the 22nd, 1991. 2 out of 3 Falls match. This was uploaded to YouTube by the great Roy Lucia, who posted some incredible stuff lately. Have you seen his uploads recently where he posted there was a shot from the Wrestling Summit with Hansen and Savage talking to one another.
Dude.
Just a photo of them talking. My God.
I have a picture with Roy from a few years ago. I met him in LA, and for some reason there was this very brief window where he had me blocked on Twitter. I was like, what did I do? Roy's the nicest guy. But that was undone. But yeah, I mentioned that tag match I mentioned earlier from Japan of Tenryu and Taker versus Bam Bam and Yoko. Roy had that. He's the guy who has that uploaded on YouTube. So if you're not familiar with the works of Roy Lucia, find him on social media, follow him, follow his YouTube page. Just insane stuff that dude puts up.
So what do you think it was? What post you reckon got you blocked by the great man? What do you think it was?
Who knows? I don't know, man. That's a bit more reckless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many different subgenres it could be, you know. It's just glorious.
And if you're a fan of Lucha Libre, the major
Yes.
figure podcast did like a tour of his toy room. That dude, like, it's not the biggest collection, but some of the stuff he has is insane. He has the only known in circulation signed rookie figure of Rey Mysterio Jr. and the only known signed Popey figure of Hulk Hogan, which I think that figure was estimated at like $70,000 or some shit.
This has been a big night for the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast, bro. Getting a lot of love over here. I love it. All right. I know I went to you first last time, Bobby, but I just gotta go right for this one. What did you make of this, brother? Oh, the fan has stopped, Oracle.
Oh shit!
We have an emergency situation unfolding here,
back.
folks.
Shit. We're back.
Maybe.
We're back.
Maybe. He was
isn't
fine.
good.
Just
All right, hold
moments
on.
ago.
I'll be right back.
He's ducking this fucking UWA too. Oracle, what did you think of this?
So this was the worst match we watched, but it was a blast because they just like it was just total chaos. Like it was like total chaos where they just like wildly brawled all over the place. But it was more like it seemed like there was like a rivalry going on where because there was a lot of like mask pulling and stuff.
Yes, yeah.
I think it was Enrique Vera that bled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got a little bit of blood. The match wasn't bad. It was just like it was so like there was so much going on that it was kind of hard to keep up with. And there wasn't enough like intense dives and brawling for it to really go to that next level. But it was a really fun watch because I thought Fatu was like really fucking good in this. I thought he was like the guy that stood out the most on his team. Yoko did his thing and had a couple of cool moments, but I think in terms of him, it was more just seeing him in this setting and wrestling in front of the Mexican fans and like sort of the kind of lucha chaos that this match brought. Again, not a great match by any means, but certainly an interesting one. And I also thought it was cool to see Yoko and Keish team up and do their thing together.
Yeah, when Alex and I were talking this lineup, we agreed like it was cool to get him in there. And I had the same takeaway you did from this. He was a very gifted worker, man. Like, honestly, because people have figured out how good Yoko was now, they need, like, people are still way off the mark when it comes to Rikishi, how good he actually was. Like,
oh, dude, like Fatu was awesome in this match. I thought he was the best guy in the whole match.
I think he's, even when he gets really big as Rikishi, he's still pretty good. I mean, there's a point where he clearly, like, goes beyond,
right.
He goes beyond the line on that, I think. Probably, like, the early mid-2000s. And the TNA run is hilarious, but seriously gifted worker. Yeah.
Cage match with Val Venus is awesome.
Yep. I thought you said about our beloved wrestling database for a second there. I was very concerned. You said cage match Val Venus at all. What did they say now?
I think it circulates on social media once every 3 or 4 months, but he had that Raw match with Bret Hart that's also really good. Fatu, that is.
Yes.
Yeah.
95.
Really good pro wrestler.
More like 93. It was the Manhattan Center.
Yeah.
I love those Manhattan Center Raws, man. That vibe's awesome, I think. There's a really cool burst of Kokina and Mil Mascaras going out here late on. Alex, what did you make of our 6-man trip to Mexico?
I was just laughing most of the time because it's just Mill doing the Mill that, he gets hit and doesn't do anything. So he slaps your chest and then grabs you and does the Ric Flair punches and shit. And then like, there becomes a point though, near the end of the match, you can tell fucking Yokes has had enough. And he's basically not selling either. At some point in this match, they do the gimmick where they use a Samoan's head as a weapon. That is one of the tried and true spots in wrestling that I will always pop for is you don't fucking headbutt a Samoan, You can't powerbomb Billy Kidman. You can't head Scissor Austin Aries. You can't headbutt a Samoan. There's a part on the outside where, like I said, it leads to this kind of just battle of no selling where Mill's just giving Yokozuna the business and ramming his head into the barrels surrounding the ring. There's mask pulling, as Oracle called out, per typical lucha rules. This was 2 out of 3 falls, so if you're not prepared for that, that'll throw you for a loop also. Again, the leg drop gets a reaction, though, when Yoko drops the leg. And, yeah, Oracle called it out. It's the worst match on this lineup, but it's I think it's a fun inclusion. And I think when we were working on this, Joe, I think one of my reasons was like, yeah, we get a Mil Mascaras match on here because, you know, this is...
Yeah.
I've seen enough of Mil to, you know, I get that he was obviously a massive attraction and someone who is really important to the culture. But, like, even, like, the old stuff with, like, Andre, like, he just... The best match I think I've ever seen with him is that tag match where him and Brody have to be separated because neither of them is going to give either an inch. So it's but fun, a fun little sidetrack in the evolution of Yokozuna. And what year was this? Did you say, Joe?
This was 91, end of 91. So he's under a year later. He's on Deadlift TV.
Yeah, a year later he's getting heated up for the Rumble.
Yeah.
Shows you how different things were then, because that's also the whole thing of like. You can't, with the internet and everything, everyone knows everyone. But if this guy got brought in a year later as a Japanese sumo wrestler in the WWF audience, was like, yeah, why not?
That's exactly what I was thinking about. Is like, I guess in my head, he was kind of a hidden gem, and they put the gimmick on him. And because I knew he did AWA, but the AWA when he did it was like not even really a wrestling promotion, right?
He wrestled Sergeant Slaughter, and like I was morbidly curious, but I was like, we can't do that.
I just didn't appreciate how well traveled he was. I know I said it earlier, but like to your point, Alex, that's something very much of its time in that they could take a guy who was polished and had been all over, but put a new gimmick on him, and he can just start fresh. And it's, I don't know. That's saying, I mean, that is actually something that you can't get back, right? I mean, imagine this exact situation today. And it's announced like 3 months before that he signed the WWF, and they have the proper Ear Performance Center shirt. The great Kokina is signed. And then they do a vignette of the sumo wrestling. People go, well, hold on.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
It's just the different system. Like who like I'm asking this genuinely. It's funny that came up in the chat because it was Jeff Cobb, the last guy that just went straight to the main roster that they brought in.
Yeah, and that went great. So
yeah.
Well, I mean, even before that, who was the last guy that just went?
It's a great question, dude.
Yeah,
that's a great
Someone
question. I mean,
else from the bloodline, probably Tama.
Yeah, Tama. Tama is actually someone who did well. Tama's a good example.
That's a good example. Yeah, that's an example of what we're talking about. Like, the thing is, like, people know who he is just because of the internet and shit. But like, that's an example of someone. Tama Tonga is polished, dude. Like that dude's been fucking all over for years, and so
yeah, it's a sidebar, but it always pops when people go like, "Who the fuck Tama Tonga would do so well?" And it's like,
anyone who
pretty
watched
obvious.
him,
Yeah, it's pretty obvious, dude. Just because he wasn't good at epics, like doesn't mean he's not a good WWE wrestler. You know, he's perfect for it. Probably should have been there a lot sooner, to be honest, right? But Penta's that's an example of where it's different though, in the sense that like, Penta had such a reputation, you had to just let him be Penta. And which is the right thing, let me be clear, that's the right... What's interesting about looking at this story is the way that you could just like just start someone over again, basically. New gimmick, new name, start fresh. Like, that's different, right? So, an interesting one, for sure.
Can you imagine they did that with Yokozuna in like 2000, like, 5, 6, somewhere in that range, when you get the backlash of fans that try to start the small chants for like what his name was on the indies, like, fuck this, we don't want this.
In 4,000 people in a 20,000 seater chanting Kokina. Hashtag we want Kokina.
We're in Toronto tonight. It's Bizarro World.
Bobby, what did you make of this one, Chi? This finally gets it.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was chaotic. About 8 or 9 minutes in, I was checking how much longer was left in the video. It was a good time.
Yeah. Not a lot here, was there? It's deep into, Bob.
No. I saw he had crossed paths with Andre. I was going to try and find that at some point, even though I don't think there's much there either. But
yeah, that's because Alex and I almost put that on here, but I think we opted for this because of Fatu, I think.
Yeah, we did that, and also me and Joe being the wrestling purists that we are, we remembered that Mexico tour Andre did during that point. He was wearing the red singlet, and that just seemed sacrilegious to see Andre in a red singlet.
That's exactly. That was what we. I remember this now. We discussed it after watching the Row. I remember this. Has to be said, from terms of our subject tonight, pretty laboured stuff from the big man here. Lots of walking around and sort of occasional signs of life, but a lot of him just kind of walk around. And at the end, as Alex alluded to, kind of looking frustrated with the whole ordeal, to be honest with you. But I get it. I understand it. Good stuff. An inconspicuous start to our evening. But things are about to change for the great Kokina. Kokina Maximus is about to become Yokozuna. And before we get to that, are there any other matches at all you guys want to call out in terms of Act 1, pre-WWF? Is there anything at all, any notes, even if it's not a match, just like a thing to throw out there? Now is the time, if so, Bobby. I know you have an extensive list over there. Fire away.
No, I don't believe so.
Put this Andre photo. Alex just
there you go.
Yeah, there's
look at that,
God, man.
dude. That's like when everyone's trying to be Andre on fucking one of the Aki games, and it comes down to the randomly generated ring attire. Like, look at that.
It legit doesn't look real, does it?
No. I'm pretty sure the Kokina Maximus tryout match is on one of the best WWF sets ever released. It was the WWF unreleased. It was called, that spanned, I believe, 87 to 95, and it had a lot of unreleased footage up there. One of also includes the Mega Powers against the Hart Foundation and Honky Tonk Man, which is a wonderful piece of business, and that DVD set's just fantastic. It's hosted, I believe, by Sean Mooney and disgraced ESPN commentator Charlie Caruso.
Wait, what? Hang on, wait. Not the Charlie Caruso part. They did a thing together, Sean Mooney and...
It's them. Okay, well, physical media lore for you all out here. So the unreleased set is this 3-disc DVD set. There's some awesome shit on it, but the whole thing is it's the two of them like rummaging through the WWE's like warehouse and vaults, finding these tapes and being like, "Oh, I didn't know this match existed." One of the famous ones on there is it was Dwayne Gill, and I can't remember who the other one was. Oracle, you ever seen that match where they trotted out those guys as the Ninja Turtles? They were the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And they wrestled the match. Yeah, that's on there. And this was before Mary Kay found the Tom McGee match. But one of the things in that DVD set is Sean Mooney finds this tape labeled Hart McGee, and he says, like, "I found it," and then he opens it up and it's empty. Like, that's like one of the things that they do in there. So the DVD set's incredible. It's got like dark matches from Raw. Like one of them's like a Jeff Jarrett Razor Ramon ladder match for the Intercontinental title, like that type of stuff. And so
fascinating.
Yeah, it's also got one of the matches I was going to plug for the second act, but it's got like another like lost Bret Yoko match. So, that might come back into play just in terms of there's some lost Yoko material in this.
And you say Charlie Caruso is on this program. My God.
Yeah, and she's like, "Sean, what do you think about COVID? I don't think it's real."
Any other matches to call out, fellas, or are we good to move to the World Wrestling Federation? I think
the revolutionary force in sports entertainment.
You know it, brother. He heads the WWF. He's initially set to be alongside the aforementioned head shrinkers. They even on commentary, I think Gorilla talks about it, right? He talks about there's a bigger Samoan coming in, part of the family. He like alludes to Yokozuna. They taped something that never aired with him doing just being Kokina. This was recently uploaded to the WWE Vault and is fucking terrible. Unbelievably bad. It is an interview on the little podium gimmick they used to have?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Arthur and Kokina go up to do this interview, and to say it bombs would be generous, dude. It is dead silent, and it is very clear immediately why it never aired before. It's terrible. It's on the Vault now, so you guys can go and watch it. It's unbelievably bad. And I think the idea was, that there was he needed something different. The story goes that Sergeant Slaughter, of all people, who is familiar with just sort of stealing identities altogether in the name of a wrestling gimmick, came up with the idea that
Whoa.
that Kokina could become Yokozuna. Sumo wrestler, and at one point the plan for Yoko was for him to have the Rikishi gear, and he said, "No, sir, no, thank you, I'll not be doing that." Put the gimmick on him, and it happens quickly. Alex,
just for the purposes, I mean, our audience is the smartest audience in all of the wrestling medium, but it's for those who may not know, because Joe you made a joke about this earlier. Yokozuna is the highest possible rank in sumo wrestling, and so that's why Joe said, when Kokina returned to Japan, he may not have been embraced because they take that shit very seriously. So much so, politics and shit. It wasn't until after it was in the 2000s, Akibono was the first non-Japanese person to achieve the rank of Yokozuna. And it's something that's very protected and very sacred with the sport there. So, so it's not, again, bringing Bob Remus into the equation definitely makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's at this point, I'll just throw it to Bob, just to clarify. Bob, almost certainly, I'm going to take the almost out, certainly problematic, this gimmick, Bob. Fair to say?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right. I just wanted, all right, good. Want to make sure you want to run that by you, okay. He debuts on Superstars on Halloween. He begins to destroy people. He has the Survivor Series showcase. He quickly cements himself, and this is something we're probably going to discuss more at the end of the show because it isn't obviously featured in the matches. An all-time great squash match wrestler, one of the greatest squashers in the history of TV. And by the Rumble, he's there, he's ready to go. He's in that Rumble for a while. He famously wins by throwing out Randy Savage as he goes for a pin, which is very stupid but also very cool because it looks awesome. Right?
That Rumble match is awesome.
I like that Rumble, yeah. Flair is in that, right? Because he's still there. He's like one of his last days, right?
1 and 2 is Backlund and Flair, and
isn't Tenryu in there too?
Yeah, and they the big thing is Perfect eliminates Flair to set up their loser leaves town match, and Backlund has the Iron Man run in that. Backlund's like one of the last 3 in the match. I think it's him, Savage, and Yoko.
That's right. I just think that's again one of those deals of
the lineup is insane. There's a part where fucking Brian Knobs cleans house and the crowd's going nuts. So it's not the most star-studded Royal Rumble, but it's a good match.
I just always pop at that in the Rumble when Tenryu comes out, and the way the announcers call him pops me so much.
Oh, that's the one. That 93 is the Carlos Colon hits the ring and Gorilla hits that fiery youngster.
Here comes the fiery youngster.
Oh man. One of the things I love the most about this era of the WWF is the crossovers with Japan, because it makes the promotion even weirder than it already is, right? It's just bizarre.
The fucking Great Kabuki is in the 94 Royal Rumble match, running spots with Lex Luger.
It's just treasure trove, just weird shit going on. It's awesome. So yeah, he wins the Rumble.
Is that the one 94 where you posted a clips of Luger getting chopped? Was it by Kabuki or who was it? Joe?
Oh, Tenryu lights him up in that one.
In 94, he beats the hell out of him. And obviously because it's Tenryu, his face never he just is Tenryu, and he's just standing there just chopping Lex Luger. What else am I gonna do? And at one point in that match, I think Shawn or someone tries to do some intricate stuff, and Tenryu just walks past them. He just gets in their way because he's trying to get to someone else to chop. It's fucking. I mean, in '93, Ric Flair and Tenryu, who have had fucking epic matches for the NWA belt and have wrestled these matches in Japan, just trade chops in the Rumble, and the audience has no idea that stuff exists. It's just remarkable, really.
You're right. They square off at one point in that. And that's the same Rumble where fucking George Gonzalez comes out and Undertaker that takes out the Undertaker in the match.
That's if just on a whim out of nowhere in the Rumble this year, Naito just came out and started tussling with Allen in the corner.
It's a Destino on AJ to abject silence.
Yeah, which now that I say it, actually is very possible that would happen. So maybe it's not that weird after all. He wins the Rumble. He's one of the first big things, and it isn't featured in our light, so we have to call it out. The Jim Duggan stuff was huge for Yokozuna. Yes. Bobby, you'd have seen this recently, right, watching that TV. That kind of solidifies him the Rumble win's massive, don't get me wrong, but that means a lot still, the Duggan stuff, right?
Yeah, because, he beats him down, and Duggan bleeds, which is not happening often in the WWF at that time, and then they kind of drape the American flag over him as they take him out. And yeah, I mean, it got him over huge as a heel and got some of their TV partners pretty mad at them. So, you know.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. We've already discussed the problematic part. I do want to know, Bobby has done some observer research. And so, Bobby, if you ever have anything, feel free to cut me off as we go here, right, brother?
Yeah, it's mostly just from 93 and 94 because beyond that, Dave did not really have very nice things to say about him.
He didn't, no. We all make mistakes, Dave, don't worry. He's still spare link waiting for you, brother.
What was there's a match, right, that he has with Duggan that's really good. Is it a Raw match or?
See, I don't know match-wise, but like there's the angle where
I think it's Wrestling Challenge, Alex, where they do the body slam, but it's like 10-minute body slam challenge or something.
Well, they do the other thing too, where he's like trying to tackle him, don't they?
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah, there's something like where he finally gets him down and the place goes ballistic, right?
Yes. Yeah, that was uploaded on the Vault too recently, I think.
Yes, that's great. Angle. That's awesome.
Yeah, that stuff's really good, really effective. WrestleMania 9 is less effective. Of course,
brother.
Main events with Bret the Hitman Hart in a match that, and this is something I'm really excited about when we talk about the Bret match we're covering. Yoko and Bret had visible, palpable chemistry that, for very different reasons, did not really reveal itself under the brightest lights at 2 straight WrestleManias. At WrestleMania 9, anyone who's read Bret's book knows he's still quite angry. Yoko got rather tired and they went home early, and he's very mad about it. And it just pops me when he writes, because he loves Yoko as an opponent, but the way he writes about that match is just pure anger and venom in his words.
Dude, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful, Bret, because the way he ends the chapter, the last sentence of the chapter is still, comma, it was the best match Yoko ever had.
Yeah. So that, you know, WrestleMania 9, the match is air, but obviously that's not when he remembers WrestleMania. They remember Hulk Hogan charging out there and immediately slaying the monster.
You want to talk problematic? Anyone remember Hogan's promo before the main event of that show? Yeah,
that's a
He didn't even have to fuck Bubba the Love Sponge's wife to say that in that promo.
WrestleMania 9 is obviously not a good show, and the finish is horrific. The vibe to that show is cute, you know? Like, there are WrestleManias I'd much less like to rewatch than that one, because I find that show to have an endearing vibe.
Dude, Joe, you and I have talked about the 4 of us have talked about this before. When people hit me with the bullshit of 9 or 11 is the worst WrestleMania, I go, no, it's not. You know why? I can watch that in 2 hours and 40 minutes.
There you go. Amen, brother.
The WrestleMania 34, I mean, 35 has Bryan and Kofi, but it's still fucking 7 hours long, man. Like,
I agree.
And Joe and I are still, you know, we go to fucking, meetings once a month to talk about WrestleMania 34. So,
so he does not leave WrestleMania 9 as world champion. Hulk Hogan's final run, or so we thought, as the king of the WWF, and it does end up actually helping Yokozuna out. Right, because he gets to have the win at King of the Ring in a match that I will swear by. I think is fucking awesome. I don't care. It's like
the King of the Ring, Yoko.
Yeah, man,
it's fucking great.
Yes, it is.
That's
yes,
I would give that match like 4 stars. Like,
it's awesome, dude.
It's like insane. Like, you taking the goofy finish aside, like, it's the Hulk Hogan 80s match, but the bad guy kicks out of the leg drop and then beats the shit out of Hulk Hogan. Yeah. Like, it's crazy. And for those who may not know, that did not happen.
No.
That's like the only time, right? Like, that's even like when he lost to the Giant and stuff, it was all like shenanigans. Like, Yoko just pretty much beats the shit out of him in that.
That show is awesome.
And like, people have to remember, other than the house shows that he worked that summer after that obviously weren't aired, he was off of television and pay-per-view in WWF for 9 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was literally the death of Hulkamania, basically, like, in terms of like.
Yeah.
There's a WWF magazine in like 94 when he signs to WCW that they ran this like cover story and like article like revisiting when Yokozuna killed Hulk Hogan, to be like, you know, Hogan sucks. You know, this guy already killed him. So
it's just that did a lot for Yokozuna, because as Alex said, that was a complete one-off situation. The visual of the crowd reacting to the thing too, it's amazing. So that leads him to the SummerSlam.
The last
Lex Luger.
Last point on that.
Yes, please.
when cinema again, we're going back to cinema. There's an awesome shot at that King of the Ring where the screen is behind Hogan and it's Yoko glaring at him, and Hogan's like standing there like, oh, it's going down, brother. But yes, Joe, take us to fucking Palace of Auburn Hills and the success that was the Lex Express.
Shirt on here. Another show that I love that I concede is not particularly good. Heavenly Bodies versus Steiners forever, bro. Awesome. Didn't turn out quite as anticipated. The match, I am forever amazed at how long that match is. I think there is like a clearly good match within it, but fuck, it goes long, dude. They put so much time in. Yoko gets blown up like 3 different times and kicks out and does it all over again in that deal. Extensive nerve holds.
That's great.
The works. So he survived SummerSlam as champion for better or worse, by hook or by crook. And that brings us to our first match of Act 2. But before we do that, we have a super chat from our guy Charles, who says, what WWE or AEW wrestler right now would each of you consider to be the perfect opponent for 93 to 94 Yokozuna? We've got to look for we've got to get some baby faces here, fellas. We've got to find some baby faces to work with Yokozuna. This is a great question.
I was actually thinking about this when we were talking earlier today, so this doesn't help the babyface front, but the current iteration of Rusev and Yokozuna, I think, could be fucking awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sheamus and Yoko on TV would be awesome, wouldn't it? Sheamus is a fighting babyface, firing away, throwing those clubbing blows. I'm trying to think. I hate to call out Bruce Pritchard, but this isn't a throwback answer now, but when he was asked this question a few years back, he said Brian, and Brian would have tore it up with Yoko, dude. 100%.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, that was a good answer.
Cannot tell a lie. Heel Owen and Yoko against babyface FTR would be pretty fucking fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dax throwing a big chop on Yoko and Yoko shrugging it off, and Dax giving the yeah, that'd be sick. Damn, I'm trying to think. I'm just thinking of the babyfaces in AEW. Mark Briscoe, I think could have a lot of fun with Yokozuna, right?
Someone said Darby, which of course would be fun.
Oh my god, Darby's a great answer. Yeah. Is there any WWE baby faces you call out like top?
Sami Zayn, I guess.
Sami Zayn's a great answer.
Sammy's good. Yep.
Jacob Fatu.
Mm-hmm.
In the vein of the Bryan Danielson, I'm sure Alan would figure out something good to do with him too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you could do like 2017, 2016 AJ with 93 Yoko. Whew.
I know Ray just came back, but like 2010 Ray versus Yoko, that would have been spectacular.
Oh,
dude, that would have been a genuine attraction. Those two guys sharing the ring. Yeah.
Sweeter than Yoo-Hoo. Now, if I can, just taking this in a different direction real quick before we move on. We get a house show with, maybe 57 paying customers. You get Yoko and Big LG working that main event. How much walking and brawling do you think we're doing?
Nerve holds being traded, brother.
Yeah, but think about when Big LG throws that cane uppercut.
Oh,
and Yoko does the fucking Frankenstein cell going backwards.
It would have absolutely been like an underneath match on fucking, in your house.
It would be the dark match after the pay-per-view goes off the air.
For the people, absolutely.
Yeah, someone mentioned, Jay, that like if Yoko was around today, the viral footage would be when he gets Yoko to yeet after Raw goes off the air.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Thank you for the question, Charles. That was fun. And I think, again, that speaks to Yoko is very singular in that, yes, there's a bunch of monsters we can plug into the matches, but Yoko gives you a specific visual and vibe, right? Like you immediately, whoever you say, you immediately imagine Yoko doing the stagger cell and all that good stuff. I saw someone in the chat say, Hangman with Samoa Joe recently did the buckshot, right? Where he did that. So he did 3 buckshots, and Joe was doing kind of that cell, staggering. Yoko could pull that off, obviously, like no other. So that'd be cool. It's time, fellas. I love this match. This to me is his best match with Bret Hart, and one of his best matches, full stop. Maybe his best. I think the one we're about to cover after gives it a fair run.
Agreed.
Survivor Series Showdown. This aired on November 21st, 1993. It was taped on the 10th. And before we even get into this match with Bret Hart, I want to quickly speak on these specials. I was talking to the Great Confirmed Shoe about this a moment ago on WCW Lives. These shows are kind of lost to history and like actually have some pretty significant stuff on them. Quietly, Bob, they are like kind of the unofficial stand-in for Saturday Night's Main Event when that dies.
Yes.
And it feels like most modern fans have no idea these shows existed. Would you agree?
Yeah, no, I know on the WWE Network they'd put some up as hidden gems, like the March to WrestleManias are up there, and I think a couple of the SummerSlam ones, but like this one I had never seen. I think there's a couple other Survivor Series showdowns. Yeah, I would just upload them all, honestly. There's good stuff on here.
Yeah, the SummerSlam 93 one, which was on the network, has that insane Steiner's Money Inc. cage match where like Scott and Rick keep climbing in and out of the cage and shit like it's a video game. There's notable matches on these shows and no one even really knows they exist anymore. It's bizarre.
This was still when their syndication was weird too. Like going into 94, they had that like Sunday morning slam that they would sometimes air and other times not. And like they just, this was a very strange time for the World Wrestling Federation.
It's actually a good point. Just quickly, Alex, their TV slate at this time, obviously they have Raw.
Yes.
But Raw is a very different thing to what it would become just even a year or two later, right? Like it's really very similar to, in terms of the squash matches, what you get on the weekends, fair to say, right?
Yeah. And like it was still an hour. It's what makes one of the matches we've yet to discuss kind of an outlier because of how much action was packed into it. But yeah, it was. They would have these occasional TV specials like this, and then you would sometimes, what was the morning Mania or some shit they had? Todd Pettengill host in like a studio, and that was the whole thing. Like it wasn't just like you never knew when it was going to be on. You would show up at the same time the next week, and with the exception of Raw, there was no guarantee if it would be on or not. Sometimes it
fascinating.
Whatever USA dribble they have to offer. So, but you're exactly right. These specials are absolutely lost to time.
Love this match. Their best televised match. I know there's an MSG cage match that's very celebrated. But in terms of stuff that was TV, on TV, this is to me the one seed for these two. The chemistry that I mentioned earlier is able to really sing here because they have some time. And even though the finish is stupid and silly, the match is just those guys working, right? It feels like the match that it took all across the globe. Bret is all over him early, the intensity. Yoko with that catch body slam counter. This is a beauty, Oracle. I love this match. What did you make of this?
Oh, yeah. This is, I think the best way to describe this match is like, because, you get the early stuff where Yoko takes a bump. He does the deal where he goes to the ringside and then like headbutts the ring post.
So glad we got that.
But what I like so much about this match is like they have, they do the ebb and flow stuff, right? Which is always necessary, particularly with, Yoko's cardio. So like, you kind of want that. What I love is they make it. Bret's selling is really, really good when Yoko's working over him. Bret's selling underneath the rope and Yoko's stomping on him. Of course, we get the nerve hold and all that. But when Bret makes his big comeback, the latter half of the match, the place is exploding.
Yeah. Like
the crowd is literally, the entire arena is on their feet, losing their minds. Some incredible near falls. And then, of course, we get the schmaltz at the end with the salt bucket with Fuji, and Owen comes sneaking out trying to help. And, of course, this is all, leading into the Owen-Bret feud and whatnot. And this sort of is one of the early seeds of that. But this is a really terrific match, and almost certainly is their best televised match. I think I've seen the MSG cage match before, and that very well might be better.
Yeah,
but this is a terrific match, and just the way that they and to talk more about Yoko, his ability to put over when he gets taken down and when he falls. His charisma and the way that he sells his vulnerability and the way that he bumps and the way that even the tight kickouts, he does really He's really terrific in this. Just kind of, the way he sells and bumps is a big reason why the fans react the way that they do in this, because they truly believe that he's in danger.
Yes.
Because he was such a dominant world champion and top heel for 9 months by that point. So this was a really, really, really great performance by him. And of course, Bret was terrific as well. But he usually is at this point. I mean, almost every week. But yeah, this was really good.
I mean, to your point, we're talking about a heel who is over 500 pounds, and they believably have the babyface take like an extended shine.
Mm-hmm.
And all it takes Yoko is one clothesline to get his heat back.
And that clothesline he hits is terrific. And then, oh, God, he hits it.
His timing is unbelievable, dude. Like, it's always spot on. Like, I always think, when I think of Yoko, it's weird to say it's such an innocuous move, but his back elbow cut off.
Mm-hmm.
Which Joe does a lot now, right? And Joe gets it pretty close, but Joe ain't fucking 550. Like, Yoko is just slick for a guy of his size. It's crazy. Bobby, what did you make of this? Had you seen this before?
No, I had not.
Wow.
I thought this ruled. Yeah, early on, like Oracle said, we get the ring post spot, which comes back into play later. Yoko, he's got the upper hand for a good portion of this match, kind of like you guys said. And then when Bret does get it, like Yoko just gets it back right away. Get a couple chair shots, which was not common in the WWF at this time as well. So I thought that was a really nice touch. I mean, again, Yoko gets advantage back, drops the leg, and just has as long as he wants to cover Bret, but he doesn't because he ran into the ring post, 10 minutes before that. And that's the story they want you to tell. And it's good. I like it. DQ finish, like it is what it is here. I mean, I guess it's a WrestleMania rematch. You can't really do a clean finish on the Survivor Series pre-show, more or less. But like I think I like it better than the WrestleMania match, and I like the WrestleMania match quite a bit.
Yes, I think you mentioned the leg drop. This may have been the prettiest one we saw here. I think this was a beauty. As was Yoko's sell on the steps when he gets flung into the steps and he takes that whiplash. Fuck, he is on here, Alex. What did you make of this?
Just real quick, this was to set up the '93 Survivor Series where Owen turns on Bret, correct?
Yes. Yeah. They're actually in different matches. Because Survivor Series, Yoko's in the Foreign Fanatics match and Bret's in the Family match, right? So, yeah.
But I guess I still don't understand why Owen was wearing the blue blazer gear here, but they don't really do anything to explain that. But anyway, this is great. Yoko's great, and Bret, like, the opening is awesome, and Bret's doing like that kamikaze style drop kick that's just like trying to, like, fuck this dude, just trying to get him like off his feet. And there's a callback later to it in the match where he goes for that same drop kick, and Yoko has it scouted now, and Bret, with his fucking Bret had great punches, and his he has these moments of fire up, and look, we've talked about Bret extensively, and we'll continue to do so as long as this is a thing. You can just tell he knew how to work with this guy, and they just kind of clicked with it, because it is another one of those things of there's 3 or 4 times where the crowd thinks Bret's going to get him off his feet. When he finally does, they go ape shit for it. And what I love about Bret too is the whole, he never had to be the squeakiest to clean, because he even grabs him and bites him at one point, and the crowd's going crazy for that. Great Bobby Heenan moment on commentary. I can't remember what he said that prompted this, but Vince goes, "I beg your pardon?" And Heenan goes, "Well, you don't have to beg." And that Bobby Heenan, very dry delivery. The catch slam you called out, where Yoko catches Bret on the rebound, is just a piece of art there. It is a shame that their WrestleMania matches are probably on the lesser end of what they did, because there's a Raw match that I really like where Bret's wearing the all pink gear, which he wore at WrestleMania 9. I think he only wore that like 3 or 4 times, but good shit, man. Crowd really, Bret was a master at a slow game of we'll get him, and they certainly have him by the end there. And then Yoko, he hit his head and then selling the bucket shot, and Mr. Fuji selling a punch on the apron like Mirror Oracle would, just kind of like,
Yes, indeed. I don't know if anyone called it out too. What about the moment where the people chant USA and Bret does the kind of reluctant, that's right, USA. He kind of like pumps his fist with them. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good stuff.
Pulled Rodney and said, "We got him, brother."
Yeah. I should have noted too when talking about SummerSlam, Yoko's act would be adjusted slightly, right? Of course, he has Mr. Fuji when they give him this gimmick, and in mid '93, Jim Cornette is his American spokesperson, which is always funny. Always funny that he just has both Fuji and Cornette, and watching those characters interact at ringside is always funny. And yeah, that's part of the package here. And one thing, we mentioned how short Yoko's run is, but by contrast, it probably is a little understated how much that run is spent alongside Jim Cornette, because, it's 2.5 years, right? It was him and Cornette together. So they had a serious run together. Alex, in your mind, is that a pairing you would associate with Jim Cornette or not so much? I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I mean, I always forget there's a period where he has both Fuji and Jim on the outside.
Yeah,
yeah, certainly Camp Cornette. And, dude, I always think of that pairing because of the just absolutely insane outfit Jim Cornette wears at WrestleMania 10.
yes.
If you've never seen it, it's like this fucking, off-Broadway Dracula outfit that he's wearing. It's ridiculous. But, yeah, I think of specifically SummerSlam 93 when Cornette's going off and the camera's slowly zooming in on Yoko's face
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then he finally hits Bonsai. Yeah, it's great.
And
Cornette has a pretty stellar performance in another match we're going to talk about tonight. So
he does indeed. I guess I would be intrigued if you were to go to a SummerSlam or an arena show that's sold out for WWE. I don't know what that is anymore. Money in the Bank, I guess. And you ask people, Jim Cornette, who did he manage? I would love to know who would win that, unofficial poll. Would people say Yokozuna? I presume they would, the more I think about this, right?
That has to be his most famous WWF pairing, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'd be intrigued to know how he would respond to the notion that's his, the thing he's remembered for. Because I'd imagine it would be different for him being in those. Even though he loved Yoko, it'd probably be different for him being in those shoes, right?
He did, I think, kind of add in a weird way to the mixed legacy Yokozuna, because I remember him talking about he only had good matches with Taker. He was a good athlete, but he couldn't have good matches, which is obviously not true. But yeah, I'd be curious about that too. I mean, that's Cornette's only WrestleMania main event paycheck he got was because he was with Yokozuna.
And I definitely think over time he's kind of softened more and more on Yoko, I think, over time. I don't know how often he talks about him now, but yeah, it'd be interesting. Nonetheless, a terrific match as far as he's shown, and if you've never seen that, try your best to find it, folks. It is wonderful. As is our next matchup. Just 3 months later.
This is Yokozuna's best match.
I think you're right. February 28th, 1994 edition of Raw. This was taped on the 21st. Macho Man Randy Savage challenging for the WWF title here opposite Yokozuna. At this point, the Mania 10 situation is established. Both Lex and Bret will wrestle for the gold. It's now about whether or not Yokozuna makes it to that point. This match, in the grand scheme of things, is a way to produce some hot TV and set up Randy Savage's match with Crush, which, includes, and this finish does lead to one of the great Randy Savage promos, the interview segment. Harvey Whippleman on commentary. Bob, thoughts?
It's not great. Heenan leaves and they're just kind of scrambling to find a new commentator. It's not great at all. And then it'll happen again at the end of 94 when Savage leaves and they don't have a replacement for him either. And it's Shawn Michaels on commentary for quite some time.
It's not great, Bob. You know what is great? This program so far. What should people do if they agree with my assessment on it?
Yeah, if you're having a good time, go ahead and smash that like button.
Savage and Yoko.
Bonsai drop that like button.
This,
there it is.
Man, this has some energy. This has some life. I don't want to, before we go any further, we're going to talk about Yokozuna, who is incredible in this, but Randy Savage is astonishing in this match. Oh my God, is he great. So much to talk about, Alex. We're going to go straight to you. Savage and Yoko. This deserves way more love in my view.
You know, everything in the personal life, the divorce, it's all cool. I'll be okay, but not really. You know, I always think of that from the promo that comes after this match. But, dude, I get fired up. I'm like, man, could you imagine what him and Bret in the main event of WrestleMania could have done? Like, just thinking about it, if things gone differently. Yeah, this match is fucking awesome. And, dude, we've already covered this because we've talked about Savage and WCW. I mean, yes, the tank is pretty much empty by 97, but he really got a lot of juice out of these last few years. And, like, this is phenomenal. And it does do a lot to put over the Crush story for, like, WrestleMania. I forgot, like, at the end when, like, Savage is spitting at him and trying to get at him and stuff. And retweets are not endorsements, but a big part of the Savage performance in this match that it is made so heroic is Vince on commentary is really great in putting over, like, that this is going to be, you know, he thinks Savage is going to do it. And he would have been a 3-time WWF champion, which, of course, at that point in time was a really big deal. Yeah, this is a fantastic. It's Savage doing all of the things he's best at as a babyface, and Yokozuna being there to kind of like cut him off when it means the most, and, you know, kick out when it means the most. And it's a lot of the Frankenstein cell with Randy doing those punches and stuff, but the crowd is just like eating it up, man. And yeah, this the leg drop comes into play too, because the big thing is Randy has it scouted. That's like the big thing in the end. He gets up and moves out of the way. And I really don't have that many notes for this match because I had seen it several times before, but I was just so like, I find myself just so captivated by it. You know, wrestling that's 30 years old can still do that. I do have a note that when Savage sees Cornette on the apron and punches him, it's a wonderful punch cell combo, because it's not even the Cornette like really over the top shit. Like, it just looks fantastic. And my last note is fucking Crush, because he comes out and he ruins it for everybody, man. Yoko, the shit can bump he takes at the beginning of this the way it's shot, it looks devastating because it's from the other side of the ring, and Yoko basically just exits frame, flies out of the ring. Quick sidebar, Oracle, did you see a couple weeks ago that shit can that Raquel Rodriguez took where she jumped at the ropes too high and just went flying over the top rope?
I don't think I saw that one, sadly.
It's similar in that the camera kind of pans as she's flying through the air, so you just think she falls like the pit in fucking Mortal Kombat 2. Like, you don't know where she went. She just goes flying out of frame. Yeah. But anyway, to your point, Joe, I think from just an execution standpoint and all the things that go into the match, kind of some of the, for lack of a better phrase, art that resulted coming out of it, I've always loved this match, and I think, you know, watching it this evening for this, I'm comfortable in saying it's Yokozuna's best singles match, and a heroic Randy Savage effort, as he's obviously not too far away from the door. It's frustrating because, you know, the whole deal is Vince. How can you watch this as Vince McMahon and not realize Randy Savage still has more to offer your company as a wrestler, and you want to tell him, like, no, pal, you're going to be on commentary, or you're going to do interviews?
To be honest, I would go even beyond still got stuff to offer. This, to me, is a reminder that he still could have been the guy, dude. Like,
you could have figured out a way to pivot and make the main event of WrestleMania 10 Randy Savage beating Yokozuna for the title, and people would have lost it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I think now here's the thing: it was don't get me wrong, it was a big deal for Bret to, you know, redeem the Yokozuna loss at WrestleMania 10, even though that match is whatever. Imagine Bret having to win the belt from Savage, you know, 6 months down the line, a year down the line, and having the classic match those guys wanted to have on a big stage.
SummerSlam 94 in Chicago, main event, Randy Savage and Bret Hart, and Savage gives up to the sharpshooter. You know, think of that.
Yeah, there was a lot left. What I love about him in this is the idea, as you said, and this feels ridiculous now, he's trying to become a 3-time WWF champion, which is like unprecedented history, which is hilarious. But he wrestles like a guy who's desperate for that honor, right?
He's so frantic. Like, even he does that flying cross body at one point, which is not something Randy Savage did. Like, you think he's going to go up for the double axe handle. And so it doesn't look that like graceful. You know, it's not like I always said, for some reason, the most beautiful crossbody I think anyone ever had was rookie Randy Orton. That dude got so much air on that thing. But anyway, like Randy's just he's like literally just using his body as a weapon, trying to take this big dude down and beat him. And like I said, Vince on commentary, like he thinks this is his destiny. This will be the crown achievement. Blah, blah, blah. Insane Vince line of commentary at the end of this. I don't know if y'all stuck around long enough to hear this. When Randy gets screwed right before they go to commercial break, Vince goes, "This is not unlike Nancy Kerrigan being robbed by Oksana Bayul at the Olympics."
I did, yeah.
But anyway, closing, like this is the whole point. Wrestling, if you want to be part of the wrestling can be anything crowd, then I need you to also acknowledge a match like this is like close to the peak of what you can achieve in a professional wrestling match with, you know, the players involved. This is awesome. And not even just like for Yokozuna it's good. Like this match is fucking awesome.
Yeah, this is an actual thriller too, which is a hilarious way to describe a Yoko match, but like I stick by that. It's a thriller. It's awesome. Yeah. Bobby, what did you make of this, brother?
Yeah, this rules. Randy goes right for him before he even gets the robe off, and he kind of brings that intensity right away, and it shows, especially here, but most times that you watch Randy Savage, especially in this time, just the heart and passion that he has. And we talked about him at length, last year before, whatever. We did one of these on him, but like it just shines through. And it's like Alex said, like there was still so much more that they could have done with him in 1994, especially when Hogan's not there. They're looking for a new star. Like, the Luger stuff didn't work out. You could have easily went back to Savage, man. It's crazy that they didn't. And, by the end of 94, he wouldn't even be there anymore. And it's wild to kind of see. But, back to this match, like, it's what you needed for sure for Yokozuna, especially going into WrestleMania, because, like, he's not doing much at this point. Like, the Undertaker match at the Rumble, I love it, but it's not good. So you have to kind of establish him again if he's gonna face Bret and Luger and have all this on his plate. This does a great job of that, and kind of like you said, it has the added bonus too of like it feels like Randy's gonna win at points. And really one of the best Raw matches in that first couple of years of the show, easily as well. And just a hell of a time, man.
You mentioned the jump start. One of the great things about this match, you have Randy being frenetic, but you also have Yokozuna is kind of presented as like unprepared and disorganized, which makes it even more feasible to the audience that Savage could win, right? Like there's this sense that Yoko is kind of on the ropes from the whole thing. And it's another example of Yokozuna's willingness to be vulnerable as a big man. And it really allows it allows Savage's performance to shine even brighter than it already would have. It's magnificent TV, really. Oracle, what did you make of this one, Chief?
Oh yeah, this is a fantastic match. Basically, Yoko's like, it's fascinating to watch because there's definitely slow moments, but like because of the pace Savage works, like Bret's, the Bret match is a lot more methodical. Bret likes to work that pace anyways. This match is like Savage is like going full bore. So like it's fun to watch Yokozuna like keep up with him and manage to keep up with him, and not get too winded, at times. So like it was really exciting just to watch from that standpoint. And of course, the crowd is just losing their minds for Savage to win the belt again and all that stuff. So, yeah, this is a really terrific match. Of course, we get the Mania bits at the end and the post match with Crush and Savage and whatnot. But really, really good match, and a match that I wish there was a rematch of, like a bigger rematch of.
For sure, Alex. You mentioned before the reaction to Savage at WrestleMania 10.
One of my favorite entrances ever in wrestling. It's I'm gonna cut you off there.
No, go for it, please.
I think we're kind of copacetic now, Joe. I think I know where you're going.
Yes.
What's interesting about Savage at this point in time specifically, people were sick of Hogan. People wanted Hogan gone. When Yoko beats him, there's like somewhat of a pop, like of people being happy they got beat. The crowd never turned on Randy Savage like that. They always respected him. And his entrance at WrestleMania 10, I think, is so emblematic of that, because he comes out and I'm fucking getting goosebumps right now thinking about it. You see, like, when the entrance starts, the camera's in the upper deck, and like grown men like come to their feet to like stand and like just applaud him, not to like stone cold like like they just the respect was there. And it's now, the more I'm thinking about it, we're talking about this match, easily could have strapped up Randy Savage and people would have bought it and people would have gone with it. And it's we're talking about something that's over 30 years ago at this point. We can't change it. And WrestleMania 10 was very important for Bret. Like that's part of like the story. That's a big thing that was imperative for him. But easily could have figured out a scenario in which Randy Savage beat Yokozuna in Madison Square Garden, and people completely went with it and believed in it because people believed in Randy Savage. It literally wasn't until like the end of Randy Savage, like being Randy Savage, it wasn't until he like came out with like Gorgeous George and shit, and it was like, okay, that's not Randy Savage, that people stopped believing in him. It was never like Hogan where people wavered in their like respect and belief in him.
Yeah, and the thing I thought was just an interesting sidebar was, we talk a lot about it used to be better and we have our fun with that. This is something that is just, it just is what it is in terms of the time. It's only something that could happen at this time. Right now, on the WWE roster, there are a bunch of wrestlers who are in-house WWE legends, right? They're going to walk into the Hall of Fame. They've had long runs. They've had great runs. Awesome. I don't think we can capture better than the commentary for this match and the crowd reaction for this match does how novel it was that at this point in 1994, Randy Savage is an in-house WWF legend. Like, I mean, truly Vince Jr. WWF legend,
Yeah.
And how rare that was in terms of sentiment. And I was talking to Shu about this earlier, but like Ted DiBiase is one, but he's never called that way because Ted DiBiase is a fucking heel and he's the $1 Million Man, right? They would never say like WWF legend. The way that Savage is presented at this time, the majesty with which he's presented, even beyond his own pomp and circumstance, is so unique to me. It's like,
I see what you did there.
Yeah, appreciate it. It is unique though, right? Like,
dude,
he's an in-house legend when that wasn't a thing.
He kept the company. He was the guy that the company rode on for a year during like the zenith of Hulkamania. Like he was the champion for a year, and then this goes back to how things were different. Like flash forward, 6 years, 7 years, and it's a different world completely. That company, and you're exactly right. He's beholden as this like living legend, and it's not in a way of kind of like rolling your eyes and the whole thing of what WCW kind of became of like, all right, we get it. It's the old guys. Like people still believed in him, and it's because Randy Savage is arguably one of the 5 greatest professional wrestlers that's ever lived, so he's able to pull that off. But like performances like this, man, yeah, it makes sense that people still believe in him.
For sure. I anyone who's never seen it and is enjoying this and has come to the Grin Grappler in the last year or so, I recommend the Randy Savage episode of this program. We had a wonderful time talking about Savage, and I know Alex in particular, you got to cover the Warrior match, right? And we had a terrific time with that. So I just thought it was interesting because this match to me really captures Savage at the height of like, he's a WWF legend when that wasn't a thing necessarily to the audience.
And worth calling out too, if you've never seen the promo that he followed up this match with, that's like you need to go out of your way to see that.
He was still the guy, man. He was still the guy, even if the booking didn't say so. Like the audience still saw him as the guy. I feel it's special for sure. Yep. One thing that was interesting was ironically, the audience in the post match seemed more like they wanted more Lex than Bret. Did you notice that? They were the Luger chant was what they were chanting. It was interesting.
That whole thing is so weird. Like that whole. I think Bobby did was this in the Hidden Gems back when we had the W Network? Did they post the footage of Vince bringing Luger out as the champion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
What if Lex Luger was the WWF champion? Well, here he is, the WWF champion, Lex Luger.
Strange deal.
Very
strange. And on that point, before we even go any further, like
And Yoko heard he had to work twice in one night, and he said, "Well, hold on."
Okay, exactly. That's what I was about to get to. So this act ends at WrestleMania 10 when he drops the belt, because this is his last successful title defense on TV ever, right? As world champion. So he wrestles Lex in a pretty unfortunate undercard match. Lots of nerve hold.
Nerve hold, yeah.
Yeah. And he wrestles Bret in a main event that, like, I think it's fine. I don't like it much, to be honest. And the finish, I'm still amazed that's the finish, to be honest.
That match, it could have been the worst match of all time. Its existence is justified because Burt Reynolds motherfucked Bruce Pritchard before it. So
fair, very fair. Who the fuck had the bright idea of Yokozuna having 2 matches in one night? Like, what were they thinking, right? Just makes no sense, right? Like,
what was when Bobby was talking about? I genuinely don't know. Was Taker hurt? Is that why he got written out?
I have no idea. Is this when he has like a bunch of nagging injuries, Bob?
I think so, yeah. Because 94, it's mostly just they do the casket match, and then he's gone till like SummerSlam when they do the fake Undertaker match. When they do another casket match that he doesn't really work
Norris
leading up
as the
before Survivor Series. So yeah, he's not around a ton in 94.
Walker, Texas Ranger.
I think he had a ton of nagging injuries, I think. Okay, before we do any other call-outs for this act, Bobby, any observer notes you'd like to share?
I don't believe so. We covered a lot of what I had. Let me just double check.
All good.
No, not really. Just after the Duggan stuff, there was a guy that was going to sue the WWF and make them publicly apologize, which I'm sure wouldn't have went well. They said they weren't going to do it. Let's see what else.
Was his name Andrade?
Dave also writes about there was when they opened the Arrowhead Pond in Anaheim, they also did the Bret Yoko match, and that one got 4.5 stars. So,
oh baby,
whoa,
holy smokes!
Might want to
see, I do feel like some of these guys back then, like when their matches weren't produced this time, they were just working. Probably had such good matches on these fucking house shows, dude. Like, because let's be honest, house shows now, when they do house shows now, like they just have the exact same match. I mean, let's be honest, you're not gonna fuck, I feel like Yoko and Bret probably would just go there and just fucking wrestle, right? Let's figure it out. I don't know, it'll be fine.
You telling me when I went to Corpus Christi a few months ago that Naomi and Nia Jax and Rhea and Io weren't just doing the same match they've been doing everywhere else? I refuse to believe
it. And we should note, while we put a bow on Act 2, one thing that is a little bit lost when people focus on the choice not to put the belt on Lex, there is another factor in that story that goes under the radar. There was signs that Yokozuna was going to be a genuine help at the box office as WWF champion. And if you look at the houses in like July, August, after he gets the belt properly, they do some really good business. And again, that's a very troubled time in the WWF. But like, there was reason for them to kind of go, wait, there's still juice. This is a new thing with Yokozuna. This holds fire. So
there's that, and it's that, and also, and we talked about this in our Lex episode. That's when we did the Foreign Fanatics match, right? The Lex episode?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
There is a shift in that match where the audience's focus is way more intrigued by The Undertaker versus Yokozuna than Lex Luger and Yokozuna.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
There's the point in that match where they try to do the Lex Yoko, like, Austin Rock, and like the crowd's silent. And when Taker gets in there and him and Yoko start cooking, they're going fucking nuts for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's talk about some other matches from this. So we're just doing here, the Yokozuna, the start of the run to end of the WWF title reign. The Taker matches, don't even ask what is the consensus on the Taker. Casket matches, I kind of like both of them, although you can tell by Survivor Series, Yoko was fucked because his weight was getting out of control. I like their matches too. They're not, high off. They wasn't supposed to be, but they're fun matches. Yeah.
I think the Survivor Series match is better, probably because the booking of the Rumble match is so fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
I watched that match so many times as a kid just because of like the histrionics and all the fucking
correct. Yeah, with Taker's the Titantron.
Who was it? Marty Jannetty that was the body that they strewn up and like raised him into the light, or was it, I don't remember who it was supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. God, what What a
But
bizarre
I
happening.
do genuinely
They didn't have anyone to do it, and Marty was like, "Well, oh shit, I'll do it."
I genuinely enjoyed the build and the payoff of that feud at Survivor Series '94 with Chuck Norris and all. It's just fun mid '90s sports shit.
Double J taking the spinning wheel kick.
Yes.
Oh, that is fucking awesome. Yeah, sure. I forgot about that. Yeah, those matches are fun. I like those matches. What other matches would we like to call out from this second act, fellas?
I already put over the '93 Rumble match, but I enjoy that. The aforementioned Foreign Fanatics against what is the American team name?
All Americans, right? Isn't that what it is?
Yeah.
Americans, yeah.
Scott Steiner is on a particular one in that match. If you've never seen it,
Vince at his most subtle there, folks. Just wonderful.
And yeah, fucking Taker wearing the Betsy Ross coat to the ring. But okay, bit of a deep cut. I like it a lot, even as silly as it is. He has a sumo match with Earthquake on Raw.
Earthquake, I was just about to mention that, Alex.
Yeah,
about 2 months after Mania, about 2 months after Mania 10. Yeah,
because the whole deal, for those who aren't aware, is fucking John Tenta was a semi-accomplished sumo wrestler, so he knows how to actually like work it. It's not like Akibono and Big Show at 21. Like there's actually like a little bit of finesse to it. So, and then I was gonna say that Bret Raw match, but honestly, I think you're gonna be all right with any Bret Yoko match. They'll vary a bit. The big thing is, and I think the entirety of it is on the YouTube channel. I know it was on the network. If you ever have a few hours to kill, the Body Slam challenge on the USS Intrepid is some of the more surreal World Wrestling Federation footage you will ever see. Like, who are doesn't John Fralick come out? Who are the fucking football players they have on that?
Yeah, he's there. Scott Burrell from the Hornets, who would later get yelled at by Michael Jordan in The Last Dance.
that's right.
There's a couple other notable football players for sure. There's a couple hockey players. It's a hell of a time.
Like the big thing is like what I remember, it's in the sun and Yokozuna's barefoot and his feet are just sizzling on that. But they like keep giving him, again, back to Vince's subtlety, they keep giving him these huge bowls of rice and shit. And it's either that or SummerSlam 93 that it's so stupid because it's so simple. But I remember watching it and losing my mind, like rewatching it like 30 years old. Someone has this giant banner that just says Yoko Tuna. And I don't know why, but that's always caught me as very funny. But if we're being real, that is what Vince saw. Like he thought he was going to be a zillionaire when Lex Luger landed on that thing in a helicopter with the USA on in the fucking flowing blonde hair, and he slammed Yokozuna.
Oh my God! I just saw it's the same tour with that Tenryu and Taker versus Bam Bam and Yoko match. It's Tenryu and Yoko go 14 minutes of double count out in Osaka.
Yes, that match is out there. It's an interesting watch.
Is that from WWF or is that from the War promotion? Because they wrestled.
That's from Mania. That's WWF Mania tour.
Sorry, my bad. I thought you meant it was the same. So my bad. Yeah, because the War one's shorter. Yeah, that's my bad.
Yeah,
I don't think the WWF Mania shows out there.
Well, the Mania show. Yeah, I guess that's a good call because there was the famous picture that the Japanese media took at Royal Rumble 94 where it's Tenryu and Yoko doing kind of like a little tug of war with the belt. And I guess, I don't know, they were putting the idea there that Tenryu was going to challenge for the WWF title on the house show tour there, but
see, like, just listen to the words we're saying. I mean, it's just how is this not more interesting to people, you know?
Yeah.
Like, people how much can you talk about the Attitude Era when we talk about Tenryu doing a fucking magazine shoot with Yokozuna?
Yeah, like it's just all the weird shit that, like, from 90 to 95, specifically with the Japanese relationship, all the weird stuff that happened. But even the Vault put out there recently, too, that it was finally unearthed, the footage of Giant Gonzalez and Hulk Hogan squaring off that existed only in Japanese media pictures or magazine pictures for several years. It's what a weird time for the company, man.
Well, I really feel confident on this after this latest cycle in wrestling. Wrestling, to me personally, is most interesting when things are down and there has to be like weird risks taken. Like, for example, what if we turn our booking committee into like a collection of Southern wrestling brains and have fucking the Heavenly Bodies on the SummerSlam, or we have, let's have Jerry Jarrett come in, or Bill Watts, we'll get into that in a moment. When companies are hot, they get, that's the way they do it forever, right? It's like their uniform thing. There's so much fun to be had as nerds in those times of like experimentation and figuring stuff out. It's just
the whole reason fucking Rodney here got a push is because Vince couldn't have a roid body on top, but he still wanted a big dude.
Yeah. And one other thing we should note before we move on from this act, a heel WWF champion is not like, at this point, that's like entirely novel, by the way. We should probably note that, right? Like, who have we had at this point? Savage obviously turns mid-reign, right? Slaughter he carries it just to Mania from the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Yokozuna has like he has the belt for, 10 months? That was, people probably don't, in the last 25 years, the WWE has been much more heel-centric, hasn't it, with their belts? In that period, that was like brand new for Vince to do that. So,
to the chat, Flair only had it for 2 months, right? 3 months?
Yeah, 2 months.
Yokes fucking carried through. And again, we can't understate that he killed Hulk Hogan like in a way that had never been done before. Like that was just because if I remember correctly, doesn't he like beat him and then like bonsai drop him again after the match? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Beasting.
Yeah,
he's the leg drop on him too.
You're right, Joe. That show, brother. The King of the Ring '93 is a very great show, start to finish.
It is indeed a special one, significant one. Any other matches to call out first, Bob? Anything come to mind for you, mate? Back to?
No, I don't think so. Not that we haven't already discussed. You talked about him as a squash guy. Obviously, if you see him on just a random episode of Raw or Superstars and he's wrestling someone you've never heard of, it's going to be worth your time more often than not. Just because he would beat the shit out of some of those guys.
He
could have killed some of those guys with those bonsai drops, right?
Yeah, so the story goes there was like a couple guys that he legitimately just destroyed. He had some sort of science to it. I remember because at one point he gives the bonsai to Cornette when they shoot the angle where he turns babyface. And I remember Cornette saying that like he said it was like a pillow being dropped in his chest. And that was when Yoko was like, he was absolutely 600 pounds by that point. Like, insane, right? But when you watch it visually, it looks like death every time. So
there's some of those jobbers though where he doesn't.
He would kick his feet out. That's when you know. Yeah. When he would, but there was one guy. Do you remember this was a thing that was recently discussed? There's one guy that he did it to like multiple times. But that's just the way he did it to this one guy. I don't know why. Because generally he just, I don't know. It's an intriguing one. I've crunched the numbers, fellas. I've crunched the numbers. Yokozuna is the new 2 seed in terms of shortest span from match 1 to match 6 in Grin Grappler history. He has still not defeated Alexa Bliss. Still not done it. He has beat Rick Rude, though, for those you keep the score at home. So, close, but not quite close enough.
They're all gunning for number 1,
As you were saying, Alex, what was you?
Oh, probably something about Alexa Bliss. But no, I was just going to say, like, Yokozuna reminds us of a time that no longer exists because as much as like people love to throw the term jobber around, there aren't those dudes that just get enhancement work anymore that get there and like, I mean, it'd be awesome. Like people just show up to get killed by like fucking Powerhouse Hobbs or something, but it's not the game we play anymore, man.
No, it's not. It is fucking awesome though. I agree. All right, let's get into Act 3, which sadly is really the last, Yokozuna, I mean, God, he's gone 5 years later. But in terms of Major League Pro Wrestling, this is his last year or so, right? We get a couple matches here from that last year or so. Camp Cornette, Owen, and Bulldog.
He's noticed. He's got to be, 100 pounds heavier than where we left him?
Oh, he's very big. Yeah, very big. Like jarringly so, which is saying something considering he's fucking big in the matches before, right? It's wild. All-Star 6-man opposite Diesel, Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. Alex and I, when we were going through these, were like, it felt right to get Taker in there. So this kind of worked and achieved a couple of different things at once. This was taped on September 25th, 1995. It aired on October 9th. Monday Night Raw. Noticeable shift in the vibe on Raw for 2 reasons. Number one, the Monday Night Wars are underway in some form or fashion. Obviously, very different version of the Wars than what we'd eventually get.
Much more fast-paced.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in addition, Oracle, this is different and this is notable because this is part of the very brief Bill Watts chapter.
Yes, it is.
just speak on that a little bit, because this is like a really short-lived thing, but if you know, it's a very different show for like a 3-week spell.
Yeah, so shortly after, right after the In Your House September pay-per-view,
Yes.
they hired Bill Watts as like the main head booker, right? And basically it lasted like 3 weeks, and this was like his big show. Like he basically booked a taping, right? He booked this taping, which was like 3 or 4 Raws. And it's very much, this match is like the highlight of that, I think, because especially the post-match beatdown and the angle where they're all getting like looked on, like it's such a Bill Watts angle. Just like it's like peak Bill Watts, something you'd see in Mid-South in the mid-'80s, something you'd see in WCW 92. Like it is like the essential Bill Watts. It did not last long. It literally lasted 1 taping, and they were done.
But you're right. They leave the baby faces for dead in a way that WWF never did. Yeah.
Dude,
the angle is like
was
what stands out so much, because they just beat the shit out of the baby. It's a really good angle. And I'll go ahead and jump into the match too. The match is very good. Shawn has a really good face in peril. Shawn and Owen always have good chemistry. Their exchanges here are really good. Yoko's great in this.
Oracle, how about that flying arm wringer? How many times have you ever seen that shit when they do like that double down where Shawn catches him on the way down with the arm wringer?
Right, yeah. Their chemistry is really good. I've always liked their late 95, early 96 matches are really good.
Fabulous.
Shawn and Owen are awesome together. But this is just a super fun match. And again, the post-match angle is awesome, where everybody gets beaten down. The weirdest parts of the match to me are like, the weirdest part is when all of a sudden fucking Waylon Mercy, fucking Dan Spivey is standing at the like, it's Waylon Mercy, that was, what a bizarre thing that was. But yeah, this
Bill
was
Carr standing behind him.
But yeah, super fun TV match. And Camp Cornette was awesome, man. Like we'll talk about it once we cover the last match. But I just went back and kind of refreshed my memory a little bit on some. Owen and Yoko have like 6 or 7 really good tag team matches in '95.
Yeah.
That are all worth checking out. And we'll go over them here soon. But yeah, this match is one of several matches, 6-man or tag, that Owen and Yoko have together that are really, really good.
Yeah, and I think, look, the elephant in the room, and it's worth establishing now, Owen is incredible in all of those matches and definitely has to do the heavy lifting. Yoko's timing is such that he absolutely can be productive when he's in. But the reason this is an effective team is it allows him to be very selective of what he does, right?
Correct.
Like, Owen, he's bumping in this match. Diesel makes a hot tag and throws a big boo, and Owen, like, throws himself with violence into the mat from a tight angle, too. He's incredible in this. But yeah, this is a different vibe. Bobby, what did you make of this whole kind of package? This is a little different for Raw to this point.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like night and day from 93, 94. And like you said, Nitro just started. So things are a little different at this point. They're kind of getting into bigger arenas instead of just, high school gyms and, country clubs or whatever they were running. So yeah, kind of a different time. And in this one in particular, the star power really is there and kind of adds to it. We get the start where all 6 guys end up in the ring. The ref can't get control, and that's always fun in a match like this. Yoko ends up on the outside. It looked like he ran into the ring post again, but they didn't really go back to it this time. So, I mean, might not have been a big focus like last time. Yeah, like we talked about, noticeably bigger than he was in our last match, but he can still move and bump in such a way where, like, it's not, impressive for a normal sized person, but for someone that big, like it's crazy some of the stuff
he
he's
still
still
has
able
his
to
timing. And
Yeah.
we'll talk about that in the Survivor Series tag, where I think he's absolutely tremendous. His timing is like,
and he still matters. Like when he bumps, the crowd still is like, "Oh shit!" Yeah.
Late in the match, they go to commercial as Owen's jumping off the top rope, which is a strange decision for a tape show. And then we come back, and eventually Yoko hits another leg drop, gets the leg drops Diesel. Bulldog's able to get the pin, and it's fun. It's a good time for what it is. Like a lot of star power, like I said, and it's nice to see him kind of this act. And he kind of forces their hand. It'll mostly be tags and trios and stuff, just because they tried to get him in shape, and it wasn't taking.
Yeah, for sure. He gets a pretty flattering presentation here, as you described. He basically is the guy who puts Diesel out, right? And that's a pretty bold finish, heel heavy situation here on Raw. Shawn Michaels serving as babyface in peril for much of this. Pretty simple match, but very well executed, I thought. Alex, your boy Shane Douglas appears here, the Dean.
Throwing just textbook punches.
They were good punches. There was a fan who was very mad at the Dean. Did you see that?
Yeah. He's wearing my fucking dad's suit from 1995 too. But that's funny you guys were calling out like how unique this is. And that's why I remember watching this as a kid. All the good guys got the shit kicked out of them. I remember watching this Raw. It like terrified me. But this led to the infamous Diesel Bulldog match that Vince ripped his headset off and left ringside during. So okay, I don't know if any of y'all watched the little vignette that played before. I like choked on my mac and cheese. There's like this little video package of Shawn visiting these like inner city school kids, which is it's great, and like talking about and Shawn gets like emotional talking about being an influence on children and stuff like that, which is cool. But then it cuts to Shawn with these kids, and for some reason there's a cardboard cutout of James Caan behind Shawn Michaels, and it's just like it's matched up to where the eye level is looking into the camera, and like I had to rewind it just repeatedly because it's just James Caan hanging out behind a cardboard cutout of James Caan.
What was James Caan doing in 1995?
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to investigate this.
If you don't know, then we don't know, Alex.
It's like The Godfather was in the 70s and Las Vegas was in the 2000s. So what the fuck was James Caan doing in 1995?
I don't know, leeching off the Misery VHS sales. But anyway, great film. Incredibly colorful period of the World Wrestling Federation. All these guys, and like so many guys, just want black gear now. That seems to be what people live off of, and all these guys, they all pop and they look great. I called out the flying arm ringer, which I legit yelled at, like, "Oh shit!" Very cool moment where Taker and Diesel hit a double big boot on Yoko, make him spill to the outside. A lot of fun going on here. Yokes runs into the post that I called out. We get another moment here of Yoko and Taker cooking in the ring. They have a very brief exchange back and forth, but it gets the crowd up on their feet and going nuts. Yeah, I have the Waylon Mercy note. Really surprised Oracle didn't call it out here, but our boy Yoko hits a Uranagi in this match.
Yes, sir.
Rope bomb.
There's a really funny part too. I guess it's probably Shawn because he was doing the most selling, but the Davey and Owen take out somebody, and Davey's a legal man, and Owen just walks to the corner going, "Woo!" like on his way out of the ring.
He's so awesome.
He's such a little shit, dude. It's so great. The strategic commercial break, as Bobby had called out. Bit of a wonky ending on this, but they clearly wanted the idea to be that Davey pinned Diesel leading into the title match, and then the real star shows up at the end, and Shane Douglas, does a textbook layout of Shawn Michaels here, which hilariously I did not anticipate is kind of going to play into some of my narrative in the next match, and also some of the commentary in the match. But what a wild time for the WWF, man.
Yep. Again, when things are down, you get shit like, why don't we just have Bill Watts book WWF? And it's like, yeah, man, great idea for fucking 2 weeks. What a great idea. And obviously that leads to the Diesel Watts thing and all that. Yeah.
And to the point we were talking about earlier too, like good matches on Raw were not the norm. So you find stuff like this, which is a hoot, and it's certainly an outlier. So a really good inclusion.
Yeah, and only fitting we get some Undertaker in there and the Owen Bulldog Camp Cornette, which I think is something people do remember fondly. Alex, you mentioned a moment ago, right? Like a little earlier in the show, that is a thing you remember. So fitting it be here. And it is time as we cross 2 hours here for our final match.
It's time for adults to talk about wrestling. You know, the wild card match from Survivor Series 95.
Indeed. Bobby, as we cross 2 hours, you gave some people some great advice throughout this. Is there any kind of extra spin or twist you'd like to add to that advice?
Yeah, I think if you're still enjoying the show, you go ahead and smash that like button.
If you're still enjoying it, man.
Yeah. Because but the odd numbers, you know, it's important.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
Make sure you keep with odd numbers though. If you did it before, the first time, and then you're doing it again, you're gonna have to do it one more time.
Yeah, excellent point. Thank you, Bob. As Alex mentioned, the Wild Card Survivor Series match, November 19th, 1995, Survivor Series pay-per-view. A really important show.
Great
really important wrestling
really
show.
Awesome show, actually.
Incredible show.
So important that I was looking at our schedule going, maybe this should be a flagship this month, because this is 30 years ago, man, which is fucking...
Repping my shirt for it.
So, oh, baby. The build to that main event, holy shit.
Diesel, despite all your rage, you're still just what does he say? Despite all your rage, you're still just a rat in a cage.
This is the wild card deal. For those of you that don't know, is actually very novel, and I don't know how often they've done it since, if ever. Good guys and bad guys alongside one another. A mixed, bag of babyface and heels opposite each other. We have Yokozuna, Dean Douglas, Alex's friend, Owen Hart, and Razor Ramon, who at this time is one of the lead babyface in the promotion. Opposite Ahmed Johnson, rising babyface and merging star, the original Kurt Angle, as Bob once told us. Mm-hmm. Bob saw that coming from a mile away. Shawn Michaels, soon to be the top guy. And then two heels, Sid, probably my least favorite version of Sid, which is anyone who's in the $1 Million Corporation. No time for it. Even Sid's trained, of course.
Tag team. I actually like that tag team.
It's just, there's something about being with fucking Ted, dude. It just drains you of all call points.
He's awful.
And Bulldog, who of course is part of Camp Cornette. So we have a real mix here. Very unique deal. Alex, before we even get into the match, would you say, based on Vince's commentary during Shawn's entrance, that Vince was pretty bullish on the idea that Shawn Michaels was his next WWF World Heavyweight Champion sooner than later?
I think he shoot ejaculates when Shawn Michaels comes out.
He is screaming.
The most resilient, the most charismatic. Yeah, he's going fucking nuts. And I'd love Hennig capitalize on it. He goes, "Sit down, McMahon."
I do that's something I really do pop for is, less so it being Vince specifically, but when the booker is on comms and you get to get an idea of their psyche, he's getting the people ready, bro. He's gearing them up.
This is during the time when Shawn would hit the sweet chin music and win. Vince would go, "Yes, yes, yes." That was always the big thing.
So this is a match that, in terms of the actual work itself, it definitely has, it's a little uneven because not everyone is sharp in this, to be completely honest. However, I think for 1995, where a lot of the guys kind of just did, they just did their match, I thought this was a pretty thoughtful take on the concept, I think.
By the way, this is
shit.
The Shawn, the gear from this match. This is an incredible figure. As most of y'all know, I am not the biggest of Shawn fans, but to me, this match in particular, the look Shawn has, this is peak Shawn.
That's awesome, dude. I had no idea they made that. That's really cool. Very,
very cool. Did you, Joe, did you watch there's the two team promos before this?
Yes, I did.
Happens earlier in the show, and so we got to give props to Cornette because he's got guys on both sides and he tries to play them off on each other. And like Todd Pettengill in the second promo was like, Jim Cornette, what are you doing here? I talked to you earlier. I haven't seen you all day. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, look, it is what it is, folks. I can't, his podcast is his podcast. Bob can listen to it all he wants. He was a great fucking wrestling manager. I mean, it is what it is. We can't lie about that fact. All-time great person manager. I was struck by, I haven't watched this in a long time, the amount of thought put into this concept in terms of the way the guys worked it. In the middle of the match, there's like there's a 1-2 punch of like friendly foes they do with Owen and Bulldog, and then they go to Shawn and Razor, and this was really delicately put together in a way that I think kind of overcomes some of the works throughout, is because some of the guys in this are not in great form, which we'll get to. But
there's a big moment where they back Ahmed into the corner, and all the heels are beating on him in the corner, and then Razor starts taking punches at him, and the crowd like reacts to it of like Razor taking cheap shots because he's like a lead good guy. And I mean this genuinely, not just trying to be a smart ass. Are the good guy bad guy dynamics defined enough now where you could do something like this and it would mean anything to the crowd?
Well, I don't know about right now. I think a couple years ago you easily could have. I'm less sure, because right now I think they've kind of started to fall in love again with the everyone is just a character and you can that shit, which never is real.
What we do.
I think if you did a couple years ago and you if Judgment Day is your Camp Cornette, for example, you could have done it, I think, right? And people would have. I mean, dude, they was at a point for a minute there where people wanted to see Damian Priest wrestle Finn Balor. Which, fucking hell. That's when you know you're hot, I did. I wanted to see it. I think Oracle and I were going, that'd be good. Yeah. I don't even know if they wrestled. Did they wrestle? They did. They had a street fight.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
that was good. Oh, they were.
Oh,
right.
yeah, there was dialogue in that match.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Waylon Mercy is not in this, Bob, but I think it's a hell of a ton nonetheless. What did you make of this one?
I thought this was great. I had seen this before. I believe we did a Grin along on the show once. I think it was me and you and Manny. Because I don't know how else I would have seen it before. That sounds right. Yeah, you might want to look into that just so we don't end up doing it again. I don't have a ton of notes about this just because I'm I like all 8 of these guys. I'm just going to sit here and kind of enjoy this and, just roll with it. And, I mean, that ended up being the right decision. Shawn gets all his stuff in. It's clear that, he's going to be the guy sooner rather than later. Sid is getting booed during his entrance, and he yells at the crowd to shut up from kind of the bottom of the ramp, which is a nice touch. Shawn took long enough to get to the ring, by the way, that his entrance music restarted. So, again, really soaking it in. But yeah, no, Shawn's great in this match. I like a lot of the sequences that him and Shane Douglas do as well in the beginning there. And then from there, Owen and Bulldog coming in, doing the handshake, and then just both going for the punch immediately after was a nice touch. And it's a lot of nice, little things here. The elimination where Michael's going for Sweet Chin music on Razor, and then he hits Sid instead and just kind of looks and lets it happen and isn't going to break it up. And Bulldog's not supposed to break it up either. He comes in and breaks it up anyway, and then they have to redo the pin. But it's just kind of little stuff like this where kind of forcing these guys to coexist, which I know becomes the whole thing, later on, and it gets overdone. But there's a lot to this. And as far as Yoko's part, he's not in it a ton, but he is kind of last guy. And yeah, I mean, he's fucked because it's 3-on-1, but he gets a couple nice shots in on the way out. And I mean, it really works, especially for 1995, which everyone kind of jokes on for being the worst year in the history of the company. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of bad, but I think there's a lot of good too, especially, this match, this show in general.
So, 2 things, Bob. This is Dean Douglas, not Shane.
Sorry.
Shane was the outlaw guy. Second thing, is this one of the years Takers was good? Excellent question.
95, I haven't really seen enough. I'll let you know in a few months when I get through there because I'm starting 1995 probably next week. So
I'm starting to question if you're truly an expert on the matter of which years The Undertaker was good. I'm really starting to be unsure. I also would like to clarify, Robert O'Neill, my great friend, is correct. We actually watched Survivor Series 95 2 years ago.
Okay.
I don't know if that means we don't do it again or we just pretend we didn't do that.
We still can. Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, serious blow to my confidence here, though, as I legitimately have no memory of us doing that at all.
I didn't realize it either till like midway through this match. I'm like, I've seen this before. We've definitely done something with this, and
wow.
Went back. Yeah,
your memory is a lot better than mine, Bobby. Congratulations. Excellent. Okay, Oracle, wild card, brother. What did you think?
Yeah, this match is really good. Really good Shawn performance. I like that they do the setup for his concussion angle the next night on Raw, because he takes a nasty bump off of the. I think he takes what is it, a razor's edge in this?
He takes a razor's edge and a power bomb. Yeah,
he takes a nasty bump off that. He takes a big one off the power bomb. I think he takes a big leg drop, and like every time Shawn takes like JR like is cued in on like like the build up for the angle. So JR is like going, oh my god, like every time Shawn getting like because every time Shawn's getting crushed or whatever. This is a super fun match. There's cool little moments like when Owen comes in after the Dean Douglas elimination and gets tripped up, and then it's Owen and Davey for a minute, and they do the Shawn Razor showdown. The 1-2-3 kid interference later on in the match. I think Yoko is tremendous in this at the end when it's 3-on-1. His timing is awesome. His bumps are awesome. This is the match where he misses the because I watched the last two matches, but bear with me. This is the one where he misses the bonsai, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's an insane bump where he misses the bonsai.
How that'd kill.
Great timing there with the super kick, and then of course the amazing yell by Ahmed.
So let's talk about Ahmed Johnson.
Well, hold on before that, real quick. 2 questions, Oracle. How stiff was that 1995 WWF ring, man?
Oh, brother, let me tell you.
Sound.
Yoko having to take like a damn fucking Miss Bonsai and a fucking body slam from Ahmed back to back.
Pat Patterson on payday stiff, brother. I'm telling you. But and then secondly, is this the best Survivor Series ever?
It very well might be. This show is very unhealthy. The opening Survivor Series tag is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
This
Chamber show is good, man.
The main event's a classic, of course. I think there's there's one with like Taker and Lawler and shit that's like fun. It's like it's kind of bad.
It's like a squash.
Yeah.
The 2002 show is really good.
Yeah, 02 is really great.
Yeah.
But it sounds stupid. It feels different because this is like a tradition. There's a lot of traditional Survivor Series matches, right? Yeah.
96 is a really great show too. 95, 96 are both great back-to-back Survivor Series.
All Japan's women's match is a little bit of a disaster on this show. That's kind of one of the big things that holds it back.
Yeah.
Ahmed Johnson in this match,
brother.
There's a lot going on here.
Oh my God, the spot where he listen. I'm sorry to interject, Joe, but can I please narrate it? Please. So Razor comes in,
yes,
do House of Fire stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
So Razor has a spot where he does like the bulldog from behind from the second row.
Yeah.
On the turnbuckle. So Ahmed forgets that he's supposed to do that. So he's doing like the stumble cell, like the day cell, but he's walking forward.
Just walking away from it.
Razor just has to get off the turnbuckle.
Dude, can you hear that Hennig starts laughing on commentary?
Yes. And you can and we all know, like it's been told a million times, Hennig and Hall's relationship, and obviously, back in the day, so it pops him even more. I think these boys being fucked with live on pay-per-view. Scott Hall, who as Razor Ramon was always on, completely loses the facade of like wrestling character and looks so fucking mad when he does this. And like everything Ahmed does is like he even Razor's punches look different when Ahmed's taking them. It's like he's kind of like jolting with them. The way that he's presented on the Razor's Edge, by the way, is an all-time fucking deal where he like just taunts his way into getting just
stands on the bottom rope and does double fingers to the sky.
I definitely feel like Razor specifically took his time on that so that it would make Ahmed look stupid for what he did to him. I'm convinced of it. But nonetheless, I'll talk about Sid in a moment. Alex, your thoughts on this match? You were fighting for this one. You have been for a long time, actually.
Oh, I love this match.
Yeah.
Just because the idea of it was so unique at the time, and still there's things about the dynamic of this match that we're talking about. Could you still like pull that off? Just because this is still when the crowd like bought the separation of heels and baby faces, so it works that way. But in case you didn't know, we were in the mid-90s. Bobby, did you catch there was a sign that said Howard Stern rules?
I did. That was very funny.
So we're firmly ensconced in that. I do want to say, though, because it's in my notes here at the very beginning, yes, we say all that about Ahmed, and it's true. But when Ahmed Johnson comes out to that song and walks through the curtain, you can see why Vince McMahon was like, the dollar signs in his eyes, and shit.
Yeah, 100%.
Sid is a god, but like this is this really weird, like he's just like a hired gun. He's not quite Psycho Sid, so he's not
Sid.
Yeah, just kind of comes out, and there's a point in the match where Yoko whacks the fuck out of him in the back of the head, and then Sid like tries to mule kick him. It's a very awkward moment in the match, but it's very funny. We talked about Vince McMahon coming when Shawn Michaels comes out to the ring, and then Shane Douglas has absolutely perfect offense in this match. Dean Douglas, excuse me. Being that we just passed Halloween, Oracle, you ever seen pictures? There might be a fan cam of it, but there was in '98 an ECW house show that was on Halloween that Shane wore the Dean Douglas singlet out. Have you ever seen the pictures from that?
I think I've seen this because I think it might be on that ECW thing I've seen before.
Like it was showing Halloween night, and like Candido wore the Skip singlet, and
okay, I've seen this. I've seen video of it. I think.
Yeah, there's probably a fan cam.
Yeah, I've seen the fan cam of it.
I think RVD wears like Sabu's pants and wears his hair down and stuff. Wrestling used to be fun. I do have a note here. The Click eliminates Shane Douglas. Interesting. But
I will say, because we have our fun with Shane, his work is very pretty. Very, very pretty. Very, very pretty indeed.
He's trying. It's like,
I
have my bit about him, but like, he didn't know what he was in for, dude.
No, he gets fucked on this deal, dude.
Yeah. Dude, when he comes out, I have a note. His music hits like the fucking Scholastic theme song, and then he's coming out, and Vince just goes, look at this.
Well, I always think it always strikes me. They say Vince he didn't see any of these guys until they're like right in front of him.
Yeah,
so like, he must have thought this guy was the most overhyped thing he'd ever signed. Right? He has to have thought that. Like, poor Shane.
He was right about it in the end. I did call out, but the moments where the Razor specifically is doing things that would constitute healing, the crowd really bites on these things and reacts to them, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Oracle called it out. I love Owen and Davey getting tagged in and trying to do the bullshit we're friends, and they both try to sucker punch each other. That's just that's beautiful. That's wrestling 101 right there. And then after that, as you called out, Joe, Shawn and Razor get tagged in, and I do love Razor points up and he goes, "There ain't nothing up there." He says, because all the things they had done up to that point were like the ladder matches. So good callback. Or when Razor, I really like how much he has to struggle to get Shawn up for the Razor's Edge. And Hennig on commentary goes, "Shawn's head's too swollen. He can't get him up." One of the things I noticed too at this point, we talked earlier about the crowd turn on Hogan. The guys in the crowd, every exchange between Razor and Shawn, the guys are behind Razor 100%.
Yes.
They want him to beat up the pretty boy. Mentioned Yoko blasting Sid at one point. Our sweet Bulldog here, Davey Boy, he gets really confused at one point in the match and doesn't know he's supposed to hit with a leg drop. And and
the commentary's like, what just happened?
He says, "Oh, do I go outside now?" Because it's Sid, I think he jumps over Razor and gives Sid a leg drop, and the match comes to a dead silent halt. it's a very interesting moment. Oracle called out the powerbomb Shawn takes is absolutely sick. But to our subject du jour, I really like Yoko's use in this match. He comes in, he beats the shit out of people. There's a part, like, he has some just gorgeous punches on Shawn in the corner. He's just beating the shit out of Shawn Michaels. And, this is back when... This is, to me, for all my shit with Shawn Michaels, this is him at his absolute peak where all his bullshit, like, worked with, like, what he did and the way he sold and, like, the way he would be on offense on the retreat and stuff. And the part here, you can see why, like, as a kid, I had sympathy for Shawn Michaels, the way he's getting the shit beat out of by Yokozuna, and I want him to, like, get up and come back on him. And that's eventually what he does. We talked about the finish, like the closing sequence. A couple of JR call-outs I need to mention here. When Ahmed hits the would-be Pearl River plunge, as he's, Vince is doing, what a maneuver, and Hennig is, oh, God. Jim Ross goes, Tiger Bomb! Tiger Bomb! Jim had been watching his Champions Carnival, and then also just, like, peak Jim Ross cultural reference that only old fucks like me would get. When Yoko and Shawn are in the ring, he goes, about as big of a mismatch as Julia Roberts and Lyle Lovett. He says, and then Vince, I see. This is not a perfect match by any stretch. It's a match that I remember, like, as a kid, I found so interesting just because there had never really been anything like this before where good guys and bad guys have to work together. At least the wrestling I watched, and it's a cozy match. Feels like I put on my robe and sit by a fireplace, and it's cold outside and snowing. That's how I feel when I watch this match. So I'm really glad we finally got to include it. And after many bloody battles with Mr. Holbert, I got to get Shane Douglas on the Grin Grappler. So
I like the match a lot. I like Shane Douglas in the match. He's brief, but he's a lot of fun, and everyone's fun in this, even if unintentionally there is an injection of Sid halfway through that is fucking hilarious, where it appears like he's just woken up and he's just kind of like walking, because you said, like, there's not a lot of Sid to Sid here, right? There's not a lot of that flair, that pizzazz, the usual Sid antics. So
there's none of the unpredictability or anything. It's just like they winded him up backstage and were like, go.
Yeah, there's a nerve hold, by the way, too. Yoko nerve hold. So
this is the one-handed nerve hold.
This is the one-handed. He puts it on, he takes a knee, and he just sits there for a minute and just lets it be. You gotta love it. Really fun match, and if we're being honest, and it's only fair we do this, especially because not every grinner has seen a lot of this stuff. These final two matches gave a very generous portrayal of WWF's 1995, folks. So don't get too hasty with your big projects coming out of this. Okay, if you enjoyed these matches, that's awesome. Both, all the talent involved is great, but there's some real rough stuff in 95, so I think it's important we say that. But yeah, really, really fun note to close on in terms of the matches, but of course the story is not yet complete. I want to be clear, that was my fault. I sent Alex something, and I wanted to see what he would do, and it happened at the funniest possible moment for it to happen. So Yokozuna soon turns babyface, and he works with Vader a little bit, Bobby, which is a dream match, right? I mean, for the Grin Grappler purposes, that's where we started too, those two together. So that stuff isn't much, but it's cool it happened, right, Bob?
It is cool it happened. It would have been nice, obviously, if it was a couple years earlier, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just nice that they crossed paths. Like, it would have been awesome. Obviously, we talked about it earlier where they're both champion in 1993. Like, you do something there, that would have kicked ass. But it is what it is, man.
Yes, indeed. Oracle, do you have any memories at all of babyface Yoko? He does like promos at one point.
Dude, so when I was doing the Monday Night War gimmick, I think we had an episode where, like, Yoko cuts this awesome babyface promo.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit, like, there might have been something there, obviously obviously because of health reasons and stuff, we unfortunately didn't get that. But because it's awesome. I think it's in your house, Raging the Cage. I think where he cuts like an amazing promo.
Yeah,
it's like, oh shit, like there might be something here. And
is that the one on Cornette where he talks about
yes,
yeah.
Yep. It's fucking awesome. None of the matches are just particularly good at all in '96. Just because he's so, his health problems are just out of control by that point. His last appearance I looked up was actually Survivor Series '96. He's in that Survivor Series '96 tag,
and that was at the Garden, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the story goes that is when they do the medical, where he's like exhausted, and they would not clear him to wrestle in New York after that because the number that I think Bruce said something around the same corner. It said 802 pounds was the number.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they said they would never let him wrestle there again, or not, that size, I should say.
Yeah.
And
I think that applied then to all commission states.
Yeah. That's the end of the run, Bob, right? That's it.
Yeah. It is, Alex, because Darby and Mox couldn't have, blood or whatever because of the Missouri Commission when Wrestle Dream was here.
So, there's a couple kind of pieces to this. Alex, go for it.
One just random call out because with perverts like us, it's not often you come across something you've never seen before. But like a couple years ago, back when they were releasing those unreleased sets, one of them was like this Attitude Era set, and it had from September of '96 in Sun City, South Africa. It was a match between Yoko and the Sultan, who of course was Fatu Rikishi. And Yoko in the match, has, he's, rode up. He's got, a bunch of braids and shit. And it's, this look that he'd never had on WWF television. And, the match is what it is because Yoko's at max capacity at that point. Yeah. But I know he wrestled Austin on some house shows in '96, too. It was just, I think it's what you guys were saying. He couldn't really do anything on TV. And it's a shame there's that story they sent him and Vader to the Duke weight loss clinic, and I remember Jim Ross talking about it, and he's like, it's not prison, it's an inpatient care center, and they would just leave at night and go eat a bunch of food and stuff, and it's it's a sad deal, man. And I'm glad in the final act here, we did find some matches close to the end of his career that showcase what he could still do. But obviously, dude, the difference between Survivor Series '95 and '96 was enormous.
Yeah. I remember there's a story, and I think Nash spoke on this on one of the kayfabe commentary shoots, I think. When he and Hall wrestle at the ill-fated Halloween Havoc 98 that we watched recently, there was at one point discussions of having Yoko be part of the finish for that, I believe. Doing something on that. Bob, you may have sent on this, but
yeah, it was something like Scott Hall kind of pitched it, like, "Hey, just come to a run-in, see what happens." And Yoko just never went for it. And the idea is he didn't want people to see him like that. But I don't even know because he still did other indie stuff after that. So
yeah. It's been debated whether it was him being self-conscious or the WWF loyalty thing, which is very real with that family at times. Alex, what was you going to say? I'm sorry.
Well, no, you're good, man. I think there's a couple things, but there is, people have confirmed, numerous people have confirmed Hogan wanted to come to WCW so he could beat him.
Yes.
He wanted to get the win back. And then... Yeah, to your point, he was still working like indies there. There's that picture of him working with a T-shirt on. He's working fucking Mil Mascaras in '99 or 2000, and no one is at the show or whatever. And it's come up obviously in the fucking chat, the Heroes of Wrestling pay-per-view that Yoko was in the main event of, and the less said about that show, the better. And it sucks because I'm pretty sure all the internet databases have that cited as his last match because, I guess there's really no way of confirming the other indies he did. But he was doing an independent tour in 2000 when he passed away, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the story with Yoko is that, and it's kind of the way, I don't want to speak beyond that particular family, but the way it would work is like when he was on top, he saw it as his duty to look after everyone. And so when he was not on top, he did not have a lot of money like left to spare from that run. He just kind of had to, and he was making towns. Similar, I've spoken on here before about the famed Umaga story of Bischoff and Hogan talking about doing TNA and him being like, I can't do it, I'm going back to WWE soon. And that was just the way he viewed it. Obviously, that didn't come to happen. In the same way, it's been said a million times, Yoko was telling friends of his he was going to be working Steve Austin soon. He was going to get back in there. Yeah, Bobby, anything else on that last, very sad chapter of Yokozuna's life?
No, not really. The Austin thing, he was telling people this in like fall, winter 1999. Like, I'm coming back in after WrestleMania and working Austin. And I mean, he never would have been cleared or whatever with the commission stuff. But just one of those things.
It is, and what's truly sad about it is every legendary pro wrestler or legendary anything for that matter believes they have one more run in them, right? But at 34 years old, if Yoko could have overcome his issue, he absolutely still could have contributed. He was 34, dude. Like, it's a real shame.
Not trying to joke. That's like rookie status by a lot of modern standards.
Dude, 100%. Yeah, that's like fucking. Who is a push wrestler at 34 now? I think Hangman's 34.
Lexi?
Wow.
Yeah, there you go. I think Lexi Bliss is 34.
34, yeah.
Yeah. It's like
Lexi Yoko tag team. She does the Twisted Bliss off his shoulders.
Oh, hold up.
Hell yeah.
We'll circle back on this. But yeah, it's crazy. But obviously, look, that was established well before we went live here. I think what's more notable for our purpose is he died at 34. He had a very short run. He had a 4-year WWF run. And we had a range and array of memories. And we'll get into some more of those here. Any other matches, moments, things we want to call out from the final years of Yokozuna's career and sadly life?
So 95, Owen and Yoko have a bunch of good tag matches. Bob versus Bob Holly, 1-2-3 Kid on Raw after Mania. Both the Razor Ramon Salvio Vega matches in the summer 95 are awesome. The Smoking Guns match in October 95 is great.
Yes. Smoking Guns, man. They were a good team, man.
Those are the four that come to mind right off the bat. There might be a few others. But those are the four that come up. Like, all those are absolutely worth watching.
I agree completely. To the words out of my mouth. Any others, fellas?
It's March of 95 where they sent him to Japan to have the singles match with Tenryu. And for some reason Yokes is managed by Wally Yamaguchi. That match, like, in my experience talking to people about it, has a hilarious, like, polarizing nature. Like, shout out to our buddy Justin on Twitter. I remember him one time talking to me about how great it was. But, like, even if you just, like, go to its cage match page, there's, like, people that give it a 3 and people give it an 8. Like, people, it's to me, it's not long enough to be offensive. It's an interesting piece of business, and Tenryu tries to work the best he can. I don't know. I don't want to fixate or like focus too much on the end of his life, but like what I do want to say, this kind of the thing about the story and the end of Yokozuna is so much more human than most wrestling deaths. Like the idea that just like something had a grip on him and he didn't like fix it when he should have. And that's not like, we're so used to just wrestlers, ripping their bodies apart, dying, drugs, all this type of shit. And like, he was just a big dude and he couldn't tame that. And it's what took his life. I remember they talked about in the documentary about him, like he was the last few years of his life, he had to sleep sitting up or else he would suffocate. And it's so sad. And it's like, it's not the same thing as all these other wrestlers that died young, not trying to throw Luis Piccoli under the bus, but pills and all this shit. And these what we think of as wrestler deaths is not what happened to this guy. And I think that's what kind of, to me, what makes his legacy a bit more sad is it seems like there was a bit more of a human nature to it than just kind of like a lot of the other things. And I don't know. I just think it makes the story a bit more interesting and a bit more relatable for people that can see past just the fucking wrestling veil. So it's I don't know. I felt
definitely less wrestling. Definitely,
Yeah.
I get what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Yeah.
It also is a little complicated because like he was absolutely encouraged to get bigger, like no question.
Yeah, there's wrestling to it, and I think that's the psyche of it. Is he thought that was his appeal? That was he was a big guy.
That still happens too.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
So I guess in that sense, it's part wrestling, but also it just seems a bit more human. You know?
No, I agree. It's not. I guess the thing, it's a weird one because they're the same in the sense that it's something it's an addiction he couldn't beat, right? But I guess what makes it feel different to us is it's not quite the rock and roll lifestyle kind of.
Good call.
You know, this idea that guys are going 100 miles an hour. It's like it was often just him sitting with friends eating way too much food, and that feels way more human, as you said. It's a weird one. Yeah, I agree. It just feels weird. Yeah.
Wasn't like he was burning the candle at both ends. He was just
where like some of the boys lived like fucking, you know, like they lived the way they did, and it was different. Strange one for sure. Bobby, any other matches or moments you want to call out from this final act, mate?
No, I don't believe so. There's he did a Coca-Cola commercial like 1997 that I didn't know about. I retweeted it earlier today. It's kind of funny just to see.
Nice.
Wow, hang on, I need to find this. So I guess before we get into the legacy and such, I want to circle one more time before we get out of here. Matt asks, who do you associate Yoko with more, Fuji or Cornette? See, I would say Fuji, but I'm intrigued where you guys
actually. I think Fuji for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Fuji.
Fuji did mocap for WrestleMania the arcade game, so Fuji.
There you go. Oh my god, I'm just seeing this ad. Wow. I guess for his time, we probably haven't done a great job of capturing the fame of Yokozuna. That ad, Bob, kind of allows us to do so. But because he was such a unique attraction and figure, he wasn't a wrestler that people would confuse for any others, was he? He was pretty much a one of one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Alex, what was you gonna say, bro?
Number one, I need to call out because I always correct myself when I find things out about this. I said it was after 2000 that Akebono became Yokozuna. It was in the 90s, but still, my theory remains that it was the Middle Ages when sumo was invented, and it took that long for a non-Japanese to be represented or recognized. And secondly, Yokozuna. Incredible collection of wrestling figures. Legit had 2 Hasbros, and Joe, as you can attest, we're currently living in a time where it seems like everyone has a replica Hasbro of some sort. He had 2 Hasbros. He had one of the very famous green card Hasbros, which are the hardest to come across. Had one of the best Jakks bone crunchers. That figure was, man, you could have broken jaws with that. And then, he had several of the classic superstars, and he's still getting figures. He had an Ultimate, I think, within the past few years, like one of those big boys. And also, Bobby, did you see that WWE is doing a line of Street Fighter-inspired wrestling figures?
I did. Yes, they look cool as hell.
And Yokozuna, of course, is getting the E-Honda figure. So
awesome.
That's exciting stuff. But yeah. Also, I don't know if we called it out specifically. How badass did he look when he had the beard? He still had the Yokozuna gear.
It's my favorite visually. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Tremendous stuff. Final words, Oracle. Anything you want to add when it comes to the legacy of Yokozuna?
He's a guy who I think of very fondly when I think of New Generation. I think of obviously I think of the Click guys, Bret, and then I think of Yoko. Those are the names that I think of. And he's right there with those guys in terms of importance and legacy from the mid-90s WWF. Very short run, but memorable one, an effective one. And I do think he left a pretty good legacy. very good in the ring. Very memorable character. Obviously, as problematic as it was, but just a tremendous presence and somebody who, ultimately, not to be sad, but I just wish he had, sorted his things out, because he was selfishly, as a wrestling fan, he could have offered so much more. But,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Presence is a great word. Great word. People have described what it was like the way fans would react to him was always a thing. It's people that were around there and talk about
I remember when he debuted in late '92, early '93, and they would show the kids in the crowd just in total shock and awe.
Dude, we have our fun with Terry, but Hogan was a guy that understood wrestling better than almost anyone who's ever lived.
Yep.
And he saw the way the crowds reacted to that guy, and he was like, okay, this is...
Yeah. I can't remember who was talking about. They said, but even as far as deep in his run, when he came out, he still got one of those reactions wow, that's that's Yokozuna. Bobby, anything you'd like to add in terms of final words?
No, I mean, Oracle really kind of laid it out. I think he is one of the. It's interesting because even with the short run, I think he's still an all-timer just based on the look and just kind of what he did and being heel WWF champion for so long, like you said. But there's so much what if too, it's hard to kind of wrap your head around. He's only 34 when he passes, so he's mid to late 20s, doing most of the stuff we saw, early 30s, and it's just man, if he just. You even look at a guy like Big Show, who, he struggled with stuff, but he got it under control to a point where he had 20, 25-year career. And it's just there's so much that there still could have been.
For sure. No question. Contrarian Alex, any final words when it comes to the legacy of Yokozuna?
We said a lot about him, and it's... he's a defining character of the 1990s World Wrestling Federation. He's a defining presence, and man, you're gonna be hard pressed to find a guy who had a shorter run that's as memorable as that dude. Is on that type of scale, like you said, long reigning heel WWF champion, which I've not seen before. He killed Hulk Hogan, which was not a normal thing, and I just think by 2025, he's a guy that I'm kind of grateful that there is, at some points, WWF can offer their version of history, because most of the time I resent that notion. But again, because the expectations of wrestling in the 90s and for how down business was, the tastemakers kind of controlled the narrative of what was good and what was bad. And, they didn't like Yokozuna because he wasn't fucking Mitsuharu Misawa. And that I'm glad we've kind of circled back around to the idea that, no, this guy offered a lot. And he did. And so this has been a fun conversation. I'm glad we're kind of all in line about it. But yeah, just base level, one of the most visually memorable characters of the 1990s American professional wrestling scene.
You touched on it then, you touched on earlier what Matt's referencing here. Yokozuna has definitely got an increased place in history in recent years due to the bloodline, the emphasis on the bloodline. Mm-hmm. And I think Alex said it about 5 minutes in, and we're going to say it again here at 2 hours and 45 minutes. Rare case of revisionism being actually close to the truth probably than what it was the prior version, right? Where it was the down period, none of that was man, Yokozuna was really fucking good. And he was a top guy. So yeah.
Yeah, and he's the one in that family that didn't need the Samoan thing to get over, which, obviously, yes, the gimmick was a little problematic, but that's the whole idea now with the bloodline, right? Is if you're part of it, you mean something. And that he was the guy that broke. He wasn't part of the Samoan SWAT team or anything like that. He was his own dude, and that's that documentary they made. And I was the only Hall of Fame ceremony I will ever go to. It was the year he got inducted. I remember his family talking about that he did something different for them, that brought attention to them without just being another one of the brothers,
And I mean, to that point, even so many top guys have come from that family since him. It's probably important to note that it was a big deal that he became the WWF champion and represented that family, dude. That was a really big deal. That wasn't a thing that happened to that point, right? So,
he was the fucking WWF champion, man. Like that.
Yeah, man. When that really meant something.
Exactly.
It always will mean something, but it meant a lot then. No question.
And I've said this about some of our other subjects du jour. There are less than 50 people walking this planet that have main evented WrestleMania, and he main evented 2 of them.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed. A unique attraction, an all-time great squash match guy. If you're ever watching a TV and he comes out to squash a dude, keep watching. It's going to be awesome. One of the more graceful, gifted big men, I think, in pro wrestling history, and I don't say that lightly, but his stuff was very aesthetically pleasing, which is crazy considering the size of him. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I think he has a ton of great matches. I think he does have a couple, and I think we covered 2 of them singles match-wise tonight. I think he has many great performances, and I think this sounds more snobbish than I intend, but I think if you don't see merit in Yokozuna, I don't think you've watched enough of him, to be completely honest. I think he's someone, if even stuff like that Duggan stuff we were talking about, like there's a Duggan match on one of those Coliseum videos from Europe. Is it a great match? Of course it's not. It's a fucking house show match with Jim Duggan. But, like, watch his performance in that match, dude. Like, the way the intricacies to him as a worker, I think, are remarkable considering how simplistic and kind of, the gimmick was not supposed to be high art, right? It was a fucking sumo. That was the end of it. But, like, he added so much color to it, and the way he would sell and the way he would work, remarkable. I really think he's someone that has deserved the kind of adjustment to opinion to historically and consensus. So, one of my personal favorites. Thrilled that we got to cover Yokozuna here this evening. And now, fellas, it's time we look ahead to later this month, right? 3 weeks we're going to try and do this so that we can be ready for December. Remember, December is Holidays with Hack, the Sandman special.
Yo!
Which means this month here coming up, we're going to, candidates from November and December. There's a lot of names. I have whittled it down to 6 names that either make sense to me as shows or are very funny to me. I will start with the latter. He's not going to win, but I saw his name. I laughed out loud. He's currently banned from wrestling television. But we have now got 20 years of Andrade Cien Almas, and so I will put him forward here as a Grin Grappler candidate. Bob, get the La Sombra matches ready. In it too, he is mere months away from retirement. He is the Oracle of Wrestling's favorite wrestler. He is Hiroshi Tanahashi. He's on the board. We have maybe the biggest star in pro wrestling history to follow those 2 names.
Steve Austin?
We have Steve Austin.
Oh, baby.
We have the late, great Brody Lee, who can make for an interesting episode. You have the Independents, you have WWE, then you have AEW.
Oh, man. That Ziggler ladder match is so awesome.
Yes. We have a contrarian Alex favorite, sincerely, we have Rob Van Dam.
Well, hold on.
And we have the man that the big LG. Gallows named as the most underrated worker on Late Night Grin episode 181 or whatever it was. We have John Bradshaw Layfield.
Oh, baby.
Andrade, Tanahashi, Brody Lee, Steve Austin, JBL, RVD. That's our crew. Paul O'Neill, as always, you're up first.
Okay. Probably not Andrade. Personally, probably wouldn't go for Tanahashi.
Damn.
Yeah, I think it's Austin or JBL for me. I love RVD, but Brody Lee's such a good one too, though, because you do have kind of 3 distinct acts.
The only thing that scares me about Brody Lee is the show's going to get sadder.
That's true. That's true.
It's the holidays.
Yeah.
Go with Austin. I'll go with Austin or JBL. Either one.
The JBL one pops me. It definitely pops me.
We've already done the Finley and Eddie matches, though. Oh, we could do the I Quit match with Cena for the bloodbath.
And the Ray match where he tears at the mask again.
Yeah.
We could do. There's not a lot for Bradshaw. We have to concede that.
We could do APA beating the shit out of Public Enemy. We could do some good. We could do some good shit. APA beating the shit out of the Hollies on Heat. There's good stuff.
Oracle, is that where you're leaning on this?
JBL and Austin. So Austin's like one of those canon guys that you always can come back to, but it's also nice to get him out of the way at the same time. So I'd totally be great with an Austin one. I'm not opposed to an RVD one, but I would prefer to do Austin or JBL.
I'm really torn on the Steve Austin one in the sense that I think we'll have a great time watching the matches. I do fear that I don't know what we could possibly add to the equation. That's my concern with Steve Austin, you know?
Yeah.
But the matches will be fun to watch, though, aren't they?
Right. And I also, I'm of the belief that we should always do 2 to 4 canon people a year on Grin Grappler, regardless of if the commentary is going to be kind of ad nauseum,
Yeah.
Just because I think it's necessary. But that's just my viewpoint. I also want to do a JBL one, so it's kind of.
Yeah, I think JBL and Austin are the lead candidates for me too, though. I agree with you. Alex, you got Andrade, bro? What you got?
I mean, of course, I'm going to say RVD, but
yeah.
His big matches have been covered to death. What the fuck are we going to say about the Cena match? Everyone knows it's a top 25 WF title match ever. Anyway, Austin, yeah, because fucking UNT is doing good right now, so he's all over ESPN. When I don't know if you know this, Joe. Steve Austin played football at the University of North Texas, and the thing right now is when there's their defense gets a turnover, the way they celebrate is they go to the sidelines and get 2 cans and crash them together and do the Steve Austin.
That's pretty good. That's strong.
Yeah, and go mean green. So I mean JBL, there's some fun stuff in there because we could find some just random shit where he beats people up. That would be fun. And Steve Austin, the 4 of us could concoct a diabolical 6-match lineup for him of
100%.
These non-celebrated, deep cuts, So I want to celebrate Tanahashi, but we can't do 6 matches of his.
Please don't.
Yeah, you can, but I think Oracle will get really mad at us.
I don't have much wrestling left. It's just the old stuff.
True. I
can't. So, I can't do.
We're gonna have to do Tanahashi after.
I may have to. I may have to
Oracle
concede on a Tana one maybe next in November or something. But I can't.
So
give me a little bit of time to.
My caveat would be if we do Steve Austin, that one of the matches is Team Austin versus Team Bischoff because Steve has a very good performance in that match.
Didn't we do that one?
I don't know. Probably.
Well, shit.
I'm the person to ask, clearly.
Austin or Bradshaw. I mean, we can have fun either way.
If we do Austin, we should do how we did Eddie, where it's each act there's a conventional pick and then there's a B-side.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and that's the play. All right. It feels like we're between Austin and JBL. Bob, what's your preference? Let's cut to the chase here, Bobby.
Who are the big guys we've done this year? We did Rock.
Oh, blimey. Rock and Austin in the same year. That does feel aggressive, doesn't it?
Yeah, but Oracle's right, though. Gets them kind of out of the way. It opens things up a little bit. I'm just trying to think, other than Rock, have we done anyone truly?
I suppose. Here's one argument I'd make for JBL. It feels like this is him at his least problematic kind of wing right now,
That's true.
Things could.
Yeah, if you think about temperature check wise, this is him at he's never been less problematic than he's. Because in a year, Vince is going to have his own promotion and JBL's going to be on color, and we're never going to do it ever again. So.
I'm good. I'm good with either. I'm okay with JBL.
Yeah, we can do JBL.
Are you sure? You don't seem convinced by this, Bob.
No, he's a ruthless aggression guy.
It's fine. My bad. All right. I'm leaning John Bradshaw Layfoot. Oracle, you seem on board. Alex, are you co-signing JBL live on the Grin Grappler?
Pin me, pay me. I'll be there.
Oh, baby. JBL, we've got some work to do, fellas. We've got a lineup to put together. I don't know what the acts are.
Oh, that's okay. We'll figure it out. I ain't worried.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Call it on the Fliz.
Should we do the fucking...
We're definitely doing that fucking Holly's match, dude. Damn it. That match fucking rules. Have you ever seen that match? APA versus
No.
Hollies from October
I
'99.
haven't. No.
Fucking awesome.
Every word about that sentence
Yeah.
got more and more Oracle.
Yeah, it did.
APA and Hollies, Heat, September '99.
Yeah.
You ever seen that shit?
How much of the pre-WWE stuff is on tape?
That
we
can't
know?
be any good, right?
I don't know, because
We'll
like,
probably
if
have
there's
to do
some
one of them.
Japan
Right?
stuff,
We'll have
we
to do
could
one, at least like an early Fed Bradshaw or like
Yeah,
GWF
like, do
some shit, but
what if we did like early WWF pre-APA as well as like something from Japan or Germany? You know, something like because it does feel like we should have some pre-WWF in there, even if it's just one.
we should, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, we got to try to find the fucking match where he worked Hayabusa in Japan.
Oh baby. Yeah. Bob's gonna have some incredible observer research for this subject, mate. Let me tell you. Wow, what a moment! What a night! JBL up next. We can get him on the show. I think we'll give him a link. All right, JBL is our next Grin Grappler subject. Should be a hell of a time. Gonna be awesome. Let's do some plugs going out of here, boys. This was a great program. I hope everyone enjoyed this. Please smash the like button, all that good stuff. Bob O'Neill, what would you like to plug?
I don't know, actually. I don't know when I'll be back here. October was a busy month. Came back, got back in the fold. I think the flagship this week, I believe I read, was Actual Wrestling Talk. So
Yeah,
not much
I
for me
think
there.
next week is the Eddie show, which I think will be a good fit.
Yeah, I'll be on that.
And then the week after, if the Oracle of Wrestling can do it, is intended to be Guess the Grim, which is going to be a trivia deal where you, Oracle, and Shoot are going to battle the Young Lions, the Young Guns.
Go.
Well, what's the date on that?
The 21st. We can move it.
I should be able to do that.
Okay. So the show is, I'm going to be the host, and there's going to be, let's be clear, this is not wrestling trivia. This is late night Grin trivia. So it'll be like, yeah, it'll be like, a question for the Young Guns will be, what was the name of the mascot that bit, or whatever the fuck, stupid, like, it'll be shit like that. We're just going to just suck our own dick for 2 hours. It's going to be great. Thanks, Bob. Oracle, you got any plugs?
Fuck, I don't even know.
Yeah, it's tough.
I don't really watch wrestling anymore. So,
See? Bobby went see? Like he was like a little kid in class.
but follow along with what we're doing on here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Contrarian Alex, tell the people what's happening with the Contrarians, brother.
Oh, man, I've been on here plenty this past month. At Contrarian Prime, all across social media, wearethecontrarians.com. We just dropped on Halloween a commentary track for the original Exorcist film, and we got a whole lot of irons in the fire with all the shit we've been recording recently. So plenty of good stuff coming your way. Oh, man, I loved the new Hand That Rocks the Cradle, and we just recently had a conversation about that. That's going to drop on our Patreon. Yes. I think we're going to be doing more stuff on our Patreon that's like free to all. Just you got to sign up for it, and then that way you can partake in the discussion and everything. So when that time comes, I'll definitely have Joey drop the link. But yeah, keep an eye out for what we're doing here. Apparently, Grin Grappler JBL coming soon, and who knows? Irons in the fire, my friend.
Yep, working on some stuff. We hope to have Alex for the aforementioned Eddie Guerrero program. Hopefully, it'll work out. A couple productions things that we're working on. So stay tuned. As always, support the Contrarians. Tomorrow, I have the whole hour on Self-Made at 3 Eastern. And I am also producing the Talk and Shop live. I don't know what that means, but that's what I said. I'm producing it. I may be on it somewhat. I don't know. I may not be, but I'm producing it, whatever that means. So that'll be live on the Talk and Shop channel after Dynamite. Thursday, we have the WCW Lives second episode of the week. Went into Discord for Violent Night. And then Friday, Actual Wrestling Talk, as was mentioned earlier. Saturday, Collision. Sunday, we have the Retro Pay-Per-View Grin Along. He will be joining us. Contrarian Alex has had to head out because he's still laughing at that thing I sent him earlier. This has been a wonderful time. Have a great night. keep grinning. All hail. Enjoy this outro. Goodbye.